Welcome, I'm theloladass. So today I'm gonna bring you Snips and Snails, a game that came out this week. It was on February 1st, yesterday, and is developed and published by Lazy Digital. So this game is a visual novel, and we play as a girl, and then we go to a school. I think it is to a school or no, it's not a school, a town, when we're gonna meet new persons and. We're gonna have some choice to do. It seems that they say there is 4 LIs. I don't know what that means. Each one has 2 different endings plus an epilogue, and per LI there is a full detailed CG, meaning that is in terms of artwork. It's kind of weird how to understand what means LI. But it's a visual novel. Like I say always, visual novels, you need to have an interesting story and good artwork. And then, like I always say, multiplayer help always the game because it calls the attention of people because it's multiple endings. And as always, in terms of longevity, between 2 to 4 hours. So let's start here. New game. Lazy Digital, developer and publisher. What's your name? We can't do like random, the name. Can we do skip? No. Okay, we need to put our name. We're gonna put LOL. So we are here, we are talking. Mom, do it again. So this is our mom. I laugh as my mother spun me around in the air. My dad was standing behind the counter smiling at us both. Anna, honey, your next client will be here in about an hour. Only let me decrease a little bit the volume. Like that. Okay. You walk over to us, kneeling down to my height. That means playtime is over. Miss LOL. That is us, because I put LOL. Because I thought you could put like a random name, but it seems not. You need always to write. So, mommy needs to go prepare for her next patient. Oh, but we just started, Daddy. Mommy is always busy now. I huffed at him and stomped my foot. I promise, we can't play more tonight after dinner, sweetie. Someone is sick though. They need my help. Everyone always needs your help, Mommy. You are like a superhero. She smiled down at me and gently brushed her fingers through my hair. I giggled and reached out to run my tiny hand over the bright white marks that looked like veins all over her arm. Yeah, like our mom has like these white marks, see? Like kinda weird. But it seems that our mom is kinda a doctor, like that. Go play with your toys for now. We can go for a short piggyback ride in a little bit, okay? I'll make sure to set up quickly so we have enough time. I jumped with joy and ran over to my toys that were set in the corner of the store. This is where I spent most of my day while Mommy and Daddy were working. I got to see all kinds of funny looking people coming in. They will sometimes give me weird looks, but they were the silly looking ones. I stuck a few blocks on top of each other, but they all tumbled down as I heard the sound of the store's door slam open. Anna, George, help, please! A tall woman ran in. She was holding someone bundled up in a blanket in her arms. I wondered what was going on. I watched as my mother rushed over to the lady. Mommy looked scared. She never looked scared when she saw her patients. George, cancel my next appointment. Come on, Gwen, bring him to the back. All the adults went to the back room of our store. It was really quiet, so I decided to go to see what was happening. LOL, no, get out of here! My dad yelled as soon as he saw me. There was a little boy laying on the table in front of Mommy. His eyes were closed. Let me only increase the volume because now only to hear a little bit like that. Her head slowly turned around and we locked eyes. She didn't look like herself. LOL? Mommy? I reached out towards her. She was so pale her skin almost matched the bright white lines that streaked across her body. What was wrong with her? I startled awake. The dream that plagued my nights once again woke me in a cold sweat. So that was like kind of a backstory to understand. I laid back down with a huff, trying to calm the anxiety in my chest. The sun shone brightly through my window, landing on my face, waking me up. I pulled my blanket up over my head to try and get a little more sleep. My nerves were still a bit shot from that dream about my mom. My bedside clock began to beep, letting me know it was time to get up. I gave in after a few moments of listening to the annoying alarm. It was a beautiful September morning, but I groaned knowing I had to spend it sitting through my boring class. My mood felt truly killed. The only thing remotely exciting was I heard that a bunch of Arcane enrolled this year. Thinking about the Arcane made me feel a bit sad also. I missed my mother. Suddenly, I heard my dad's voice coming from below. "Lol, get up already. Don't class start today? I need some help moving this box from the stockroom before you go." "I'm coming. Just give me a minute to get myself in one piece." I made sure to hurry up and get dressed before my dad started calling me for me again. When I came down the steps that led from the park to our store, I was greeted by Dad almost crashing into me with a stack of boxes. Good morning, honey." I jumped out of the way to avoid colliding with him. "Can you grab the last box in the back? It's almost time to open and I have to start restocking supplies. Customers will be flowing in, so we gotta be prepared. You know how the Arcane stock up in September to prepare for next month." He put the box he was carrying down and a thoughtful look appeared on his face. "It is really great the Arcane aren't hiding anymore. The last 3 years business has been booming, and we don't need its guys for the storefront either. That glamour spell was expensive to keep up." He smiled while looking around the store. "I really wish your mother was here to see all of this. She never would have imagined." So it seems that our mother died? It seems. Yeah, I wish she could have seen it too. I dropped the box I was carrying off by the glass war area and walked over to my dad to give him a hug. I was unsure of what to say. After Mom passed when I was younger, Dad decided to keep the shop open and continue to serve the Arcane community even though he was a human. Okay, so Arcane means maybe people that have some kind of powers, it seems? Maybe. We didn't offer my mother's healing magic serves anymore, but still sold Arcane essentials. Dad handled most of the customers while I was just to write payment slips or prepare tinctures. Even though the Arcane were not living in a secret anymore, I did not know much about them outside of our shop and my childhood memories of Mom. I walked back to grab the final box from the stockroom. It was quite light and smelled strongly of wet dirt. I made a face at my dad as he watched me come back out the store floor. "New herbs." I nodded my head, now understanding why they smelled that way. "I will wash them before they get put out on display. I'll save you the burden of doing it, especially after what happened last time." He began to giggle and I gave him a dirty look. "Last week we were unloading our shipments as we do every week, and I took it upon myself to get a head start on the workday. Herbs will always need to be thoroughly washed, so I did my normal duty and brought them over to the sink in the back room. Unbeknownst to me, there were a ton of bugs in the box, so when I stuck my hand in without looking, I ended up with a handful of beetles. My dad called me the beetle whisperer for 3 days straight after that. No more beetle whispering for you." I laughed but still pretend to be annoyed. "Hey, at least those beetles kept me from having to do more work now. You can thank your valiant father for that. I will never sacrifice you to the beetles again." We both burst out in giggles together, enjoying our usual silly banter. My phone suddenly started to ring from my pockets. "Sorry Dad, that's my alarm. I gotta head out." I said goodbye as the store's front door swung closed behind me. I quickly walked up to the sidewalk in the direction of my school. I tried to shake off any first day jitters I had. Although it was not my first year, the beginning of the semester will always set me on edge. The last few semesters especially made me a bit more nervous than usual. Every year there were new Arcane students that flooded the courtyards and classrooms. I gently slapped my cheeks and pushed forward. Today would be like any other day. Go to school, come home, work in store, then watch TV and video call Arabella. When I arrived at my university, I found a bench to wait and look up my class schedule online. Okay, so my first class is Arcane Anatomy 101. I had a relatively easy workload this semester considering I was biomedical major. After the reveal act, my class began to include arcane related subjects, which was fascinating. But also an aspiring doctor, I understood it was more important for me to know how to diagnose a woman and arcane patients, so I found this change useful. So it seems that in this city, there is people that are normal humans and people that are arcane. Okay. Like our mother, it seems that our mother was an arcane and our father was human. My phone clock showed it was 9:55 a.m., so I decided to head into class. As I went to stand, my head smacked into something pointy and sharp. What the hell? What were you going before you bulldozed into people? He was cupping his shin in pain. Once I realized what, or rather who I collided with, my face flushed with embarrassment. An attractive, slender guy stood over me. His hair was shaved at the sides. He had tattoos crawling up both arms. Ignoring the pain, I cried. I'm sorry, it was an accident. You're gonna say it was an accident. What's your problem? It was an accident. What's your problem? I didn't expect some idiot to headbutt me today. I scoffed at his reply. He really had some balls to be so forward and rude to someone he has never met before. My problem is it was an accident, and you are being an ass. I swear, he smirked at me for a second before returning to his skull. Maybe I won't be an ass if stupid woman girls didn't decide to ruin my day. Ruin his day? He acted as if this was a personal attack. Also, all I did was bump into his shin. He was overreacting quite a bit. Don't you think you are overreacting a bit? So what? I'm sorry I bumped into you. You need to calm down. I was not now getting worked up, shouting back at him. Other students were looking at us, whispering to each other. He cocked his head to the side. He looked like he was gearing up to argue back. I didn't want to waste my time or breath on this guy. I pushed past him and went inside to find a good seat in class while he stood there scowling. I hope I left a bruise on his stupid shin. I sat as I entered the hallway of the science building. I was a bit embarrassed by the incident that just occurred. Bumping into someone who was so aggressive agitated me a bit. I shook my head trying to get rid of the thoughts I was having. I didn't have time to worry about some stranger. I had to pay attention in class if I want to get good grades this semester. That is what was important. But still, something was really weird about him, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. He looked human, but maybe he wasn't? Nowadays you never really knew. Unlike before the reveal act though, it was at least safe for those who were arcane. I finally got my desired classroom and grabbed the cold door handle. There was a weird energy in the air today. I took a seat near the back. I could see just fine. I never liked being up right in front anyway. There were a few other students sitting around tapping away on their cell phones. The professor looked uninterested while she shuffled through papers on her desk. I guess she was allotting students more time in case they were running late. I lazily leaned forward and rested my cheek on my hand. My gaze shifted to the windows that showed the courtyard I was sitting in before. I watched a group of rowdy caster guys and what looked like some sort of ark with horns fighting with each other. I sighed to myself. The reveal act was protecting these people. They may not have been humans, but they were still people. Some humans still had issues with them being so open about who they were. I think humans were just threatened by something they didn't quite understand. I too didn't quite understand them, but they deserve to be treated the same as us. My mother would heal anyone who came through our doors. I didn't really understand the difference or the secrets of the arcane then. I want to be like my mom though, healing someone no matter what or who they were. That is why I study hard. I may not be able to use magic to heal, but I could become one of the best doctors as long as I gave it my all. The professor up front snapped a textbook shut, cutting my thoughts short. I guess it was time for my first class of this semester to begin. The rest of my day went smoothly, although I found attending class boring. Once we began revisiting discussion, I always got involved. The people in my class were pretty friendly, and it was interesting to see all the new arcane students around. The rumors were true. There were more freshmen arcane this year than ever before. I walked along the path leaning around one of the courtyards trying to decide on what to do next. I did keep an eye out for that guy from this morning, just in case he felt like going for a round two of arguing with me. Since my last class ended around 3:30 p.m., I had an hour to kill before I had to head home for work. I did have some homework to do already, so I figured I would go to the campus library to get some done. The library was quiet except for a couple of girls sneaking to themselves at one of the tables, a lone boy reading, and the librarian relocating books onto the shelves. My eyes lingered on the boy reading alone. He was incredibly pale and had piercing violet eyes. He definitely wasn't human, but there were no magic markings, so not a caster either. Okay, so when they have those marks like our mother had, that white marks, meaning that they are a caster, like our mother could lose ill spell. When they like this kid isn't human, but he doesn't have marks, meaning that he can't cast spells. Okay, try to understand. Let's quick save. Yeah. I tried to just mind my own business, regardless of whatever species he was. At the end of the day, it really mattered. I didn't know him personally. I chose a spot at one of the empty tables and pulled out my textbook to start reading chapter 1 before the next class. Instead of focusing, my brain kept thinking about something my professor said in my anatomy class earlier. Within this class, we will be discussing the physiology of arcane such as vampires, succubi, and casters, amongst the many other species that are found in our communities. Okay, so there's a lot of species of arcane people. Casters are those in which humans share the most in common with physically. Okay, because they are like humans, but then they have those marks, white marks. Okay. They appear identical to humans, aside from the colorful markings made visible by magicka coursing through their bodies, like our mother was. Easy. Each of them have a unique element that is present from birth. It is important to note that the offspring from a caster and a partner of a different species are typically born with limited or no magic ability. Okay, like us, because we are a daughter of a caster and a normal human. That's why you can't cast spells. Okay? These children are referred to as divided and are easily identified at a young age by the absence of magicka markings. There you go. It's good that they explain a little bit of the city, of the town that we are living, like that you understand a little bit. That's always a good thing. The lecture on the different species started off interesting, until she went on about casters and divided. Any mentions about casters always brought my thoughts back to my mom, which was bittersweet. Her memory was what motivated me, but I missed her greatly. I smiled at myself thinking about her. She was so caring and beautiful. I adore her magic markings as a child. I used to call them her magic marks. It would make her laugh every time. I said aloud I probably was not going to get much work done, and as usual I would sit here and overthink everything. I knew I was divided thanks to having a human father and a caster mother. There you go. Growing up, I was assured by my parents that although there was a special name for what I am, I was a human since I did not have magic markings. I felt a little unsettled being reminded I was a bit different no matter how human I felt. I tried to avoid these thoughts. I'm just an everyday person now, even if I was technically labeled as a divided. To distract myself, I decided to play on my phone. After a few minutes passed, I suddenly felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned around to look up at a handsome guy with striking blue eyes and almost golden blonde hair. But look, he has some marks, right? But they are not white marks. Is he a caster or is something different? He could have been a celebrity with his looks. Not a movie star, but definitely one would see in a teen drama TV show. I couldn't help but notice the ice blue markings that streak over his body. He was definitely a caster. Okay, So the marks means always a cast. Those the color doesn't mean nothing else. Okay. With full marks, I couldn't decide know that what his specialty was though. Okay. Hey, sorry to bother you, but I think you dropped this. He handed me my notebook for my statistics class. I swear I saw it in my bag earlier, but maybe I mistook one of my other notebooks for it. Yeah, thanks. He didn't look like he was going anywhere and kept staring down at me expectantly. It was a little weird, but I decided to shrug it off for now. You look harmless enough. You can sit if you want. I was just getting bored of homework anyway. I felt a bit awkward. This was my first time talking to one of the arcane students on campus. He smiled and quickly slid out the chair beside me and sat down. Sullivan Alatar. He was still smiling while leaning his face on his hand and looking at me. What? I was a bit shell-shocked since I hadn't spoken with a caster this much since before my mom died. My name is Sullivan. I think we have class together? We have stats together. That's where you forgot your notebook. Oh yeah. I didn't remember seeing him in class, and I was sure he would be hard to miss. He brought this really upbeat vibe with him. It was like having a big ball of sunshine sitting next to me. My name is Lol. Thanks for returning our notebook. I appreciate it. Well, yeah, of course. So what's up? He kept smiling. I felt like he was trying to make me feel more comfortable. He must just be really extroverted, which is fine. That means he can do all the talking. Not much, just same old. First day of the semester and all that. I didn't really know how to continue the conversation. Out of nowhere, he huffed them through his arms and head down on the table dramatically. I totally suck at stats. Do you think you could tutor me? I looked at him puzzled. What was he even talking about? Also, he was quite bold to handle as something from a stranger he just met. What is with these weird guys on campus lately? I'm not even good at math. Statistics is my least favorite class. I would little rather hit a ball of screws. I bit my lip and tried to come up with another excuse. He was giving me a puppy dog eyes as if begging for my assistance. Plus, no offense, but I just met you. Why don't you ask the tutoring center? Well, you look really smart. I look really smart? What does that even mean? Should I take that as a compliment or an insult? Do I look like a nerd? And I may or may not have looked in your notebook. You keep really good notes. Plus, I hate the center. They are so expensive. This guy was really friendly, albeit a bit pushy. But I didn't think he would take no for an answer. I sighed and finally gave in to his request. Maybe I could half-ass it and say yes, then never follow through. I don't know about tutoring, but I guess I can help you out the best I can in class. Don't blame me if you get bad grades though. I really am not that great with math. Well, two brains are more powerful than one. He beamed and stood up quickly. I got to run though. I'll see you around, lol. He almost knocked over the chair as he dashed toward the exit. My gaze landed on the nape of his neck, where the blue mark is streaked up under his hairline. He was like a tornado of a human, or rather caster. Regardless, that only caught made my head spin. At least it got me to stop overthinking for a little bit. As I looked away from Sullivan back, I noticed the boy who was reading alone earlier was waiting at the entrance for my new friends. I guess they must know each other somehow. Maybe they're both new freshmen. There were several freshman students in my statistics class, so it was possible. I said that I mumbled under my breath. Today is just a whirlwind of I don't even know what. It was about time to head home, so I grabbed all my belongings and double-checked to make sure all my books were securely in my bag before I made my way out the doors. Weirdly enough, I didn't see Sullivan or his quiet companion anywhere as I walked back to the shop. I passed one of our regular customers on their way out of our store as I head inside. The sign of the door labeled Snips and Snails, apothecary and supplies for all arcane needs, thudded against the glass as I shut the door behind me. My dad was quietly humming away behind the counter as he mashed some unknown leaves in a mortar and pestle. Hey Dad, what's... Lol, good you are here. Can you finish grinding these herbs up for me? The customer will be here any minute, and I may or may not be dying to take a break. I sighed. I was already tired from my class, and then the weird interaction I had today didn't help either. But I love my dad, so I would help him anytime he needed me. Oh no, how was your first day of the semester, or how did your class go, lol? I pointed in his direction, teasing him. He usually was so interested in how my day went. He laughed, then put the tools he was using down. My darling daughter, how was your day? I crossed my arms and leaned forward on the counter. Very strange. My classes are fun. I had some weird run-ins with some boys though. His eyebrows shot up, showing I caught his attention. Boys, huh? What are these run-ins you speak of? I laughed at his sudden curiosity. I bumped into a very rude individual who then continued to shield me out in front of a bunch of the other students. He gave me a disapproving look. I continued on with my story though. Then I met the most pushy caster. He wanted me to help him out in one of our classes, and he wouldn't take no for an answer. A caster, huh? And what do you say to these boys? The rude one wasn't even worth arguing with, honestly. I tried to keep my temper under control. The caster, well, I'm not exactly sure. I told him I'll help him because he did seem genuinely nice. Secretly though, I hope he just forgets about the whole incident. Lol, I raised you better. If you say you are going to help someone, then you should. I groaned in response. It would be nice if you got to know more of the arcane community, too. I mean, we do sell supplies for them. I know. He looked at me softly before gently touching my arm. I know it's been hard for you, since, well, your mom, but that shouldn't stop you from making connections with others. I gave him a sad smile and nodded. I promised that. It was not because he was a cast I want to turn him down. He is just so energetic, I fell out of breath after he left. My dad laughed out loud and shook his head. Well, maybe you need a friend like that. He checked his watch briefly before giving me a sheepish smile. Now, I do have to go. Can you please finish this order for me? Fine, but this is only because I love you and you are my father. Otherwise, I will complain to HR about this. Honey, we don't have HR. You report to only me. I am HR, the boss, the sales, and the finance department all at once. Then this nepotism. He laughed and kissed me on top of my head. I reached for the mortar and pestle as he rushed upstairs to our apartment. I knew he didn't need a break because he was so tired. He definitely just wanted to watch the rest of whatever soccer game was being broadcasted today. I quickly got to work, finished the order to be picked up. The doorbell shimmered while I was ducked down behind the counter, fishing for a bag to wrap the herbs. Hello, welcome to Snips. I guess you are here to pick up your order? As I stood up, I was greeted by a familiar face. I really didn't expect to see him so soon. Well, I didn't know you worked here. Eugene pushed the boy I saw from the library early forward. Queen, say hi. This is my friend Lol. I didn't know you were arcane. The shorter boy I now knew as Queen, that is this, glanced up in my direction, then ducked down behind his shaggy silver hair. Oh, hi guys. Sorry to disappoint, but not quite. My mom was cast and my dad is human. I laughed awkwardly as Silver's smile faltered for a second. The air felt a bit suffocated for a moment. I felt myself begin to sweat nervously. Was he judging me for not being arcane? Yeah, Sullivan, we were just at school together. I never seen you here before. I guess this is your order? Yeah, something my mom ordered. I'm just grabbing it for her. That's interesting you aren't arcane, but you guys own this store. It's actually really cool. You probably meet all different arcane since you work here. Not really. We have owned the shop as long as I can remember, but my dad does most of the direct sales for customers. I don't really know any arcane personally, besides you guys now, I guess. His smile fell again for a second. I wasn't sure if that offended him, so I decided to quick change the topic. Speak to Queen, speak to Solomon. To Queen. I looked at the short pale boy next to him. The whale printed on his sweatshirt was cute, causing me to smile. I think I saw you in the library earlier. His face broke into a bright red blush that reached down his cheek. He looked back down at the floor. I guess he was shy then, completely different from Sullivan. How do you guys know each other? Sullivan spoke up, although I was directing my question at Queen. He's my little brother, okay, there we go. He goes to our college too, he's a freshman. That's nice that you both go to our college. Also, here, I got your order ready. I placed the little bag of herbs on the counter and finished writing out a payment slip. I exchanged the paper with Sullivan while he swiped his card in the card reader machine. It was nice seeing you guys. Hey lol, before we go, put my number in your phone. I'm gonna take you up on the tutoring offer. He put his card back in his wallet and gently took the bag of herbs off the counter. I laughed at how unexpected he seemed to be. I guess offering him tutoring service is how he remembered our first conversation. I didn't want to come off rude, especially after speaking to my dad. I should give him a chance to become friends. Also, after our previous encounters, I figured he wasn't going to leave the shop without my number anyway. Yeah, sure, why not? We exchanged forms and plugged our contact info in. I know you say you don't get to meet any arcane in here, so you gotta get out more. Let's get together soon. I wonder what else you want besides free tutoring. Sure, that sounds nice. At that, Sullivan grinded. He may have been a bit energetic, okay, maybe too energetic, but at least he was quite nice and friendly. Okay, I'll text you to figure out a good time. With that, he spun on his heel and placed his hand on his little brother's shoulder. See you lol. I noticed Quinn look back quickly and I shot him a small smile. He was nothing like his brother, but he seemed sweet. It was around 6 p.m, so I figured I should video call my best friend to see what she has been up to and update her on my new ARC friends. So this is our best friend, that is Arabella. Lol, what's up? I haven't heard from you all day, and you didn't text me back. She paused at the camera. I laughed at how nosy but also cute my best friend could be. You know how it is. First day of class and all that, plus aren't you supposed to be downstairs slaving over a stove or something for your mom? She thinks I'm cleaning my room, so it's fine. So let's talk about how I didn't see you on campus at all day today. You didn't even try to find me to say hi. She looked a little hurt, but I knew she was just being dramatic. I rolled my eyes at her, whining and smiled. Arabella, I am on the other side of campus. I'm in the science wing and you are in the liberal arts wing. We'll almost never see each other. Plus, you'll have gone crazy if you were on my side of campus today. She leaned in closer, ready to listen to how weird my day was. Spill it. What happened? Oh my god, wait. You either one had a super hot professor, and I will add myself if I am not in his class, or two, you saw my ex floating around? Why would the only reason you love the science side have to be related to a hot professor? No, I didn't see James everywhere. Then what happened? Okay, the cutest boy came into Snips, I met the sweetest guy, I ran into a biggest asshole. Let's say that I ran into the biggest asshole. I ran into the biggest asshole on this side of the Mississippi. Whose ass am I kicking? She glared through the screen at me. I could tell she was ready to pick a fight, even before knowing what happened. I may or may not have smashed my head into his shin, but that would not have happened if he wasn't standing over me. What's worse is he was kinda cute, but his personality was shit. Whoa, bad boys. I'm still going to beat his ass, but can't deny a naughty hot guy. I made a gagging noise at how quickly Arabella changed her tune when she finds out a guy is hot. Hot or not, it sucks. I hope I won't see him again on campus. If he starts with me, I will have to give him a piece of my mind. You sure I've been thinking this over a lot. Sounds like somebody wants to smash something other than his shin. I went to defend myself, but all that came out was pathetic stutter. How could she even think I wanna fuck him let alone be in the same room with someone as old as that. You are so gross. But my dad didn't stop there. After that incident, a caster from my stat class asked me to get together and help him with some assignments. I was figuring we'll never see each other outside of school, but he and his brother came into Snips, and now we are gonna make plans to hang out sometime. Well, as your best friend in the whole universe, I'm glad that all these fucking autists are crawling out of the woodwork for you, even if you are totally not sharing at all. Uh-oh, sounds like Mom might have caught on. I knew I should have told her I was reading instead. Goodbye, I love you. Tell your dad I said hi. Before I could say anything, our call was cut short. After my call with Arabella, I killed a few hours catching up on some shows with my dad and eating cheese balls before bed. As I forgot coffee in my bed, my phone chirped alerting me I received a text. Click or hit enter to text back. Okay, Sullivan, let's meet later this week in the library. We can get some snacks or coffee on the way to my house. Maybe around 3:30. Good night. I look at my phone blankly. He really just goes all out, doesn't he? Well, it has been a while since I hung out with anyone besides Arabella or my dad. Plus, I agreed to tutor him. Yeah, I'll let you know. Night. I was a bit apprehensive still about hanging out. It was nice, but I wasn't sure I was ready to hang out with complete strangers. Next morning, I woke up to another sunny day to be wasted inside. I want to take advantage of the nice weather a little bit this time, so I made sure to wake up earlier than yesterday. You are heading out to class already? It's 8 in the morning. I waved away his surprise. I want to walk around campus and get some fresh air, maybe a coffee on my way in too. I'm going out now. Are you going to spend time with your new friend today? I shook my head at him, he frowned, looking a bit disappointed. You should contact him. You need to start getting out more, honey. All you have been doing since high school is work and college. I sighed. He didn't need to point out how much of a homebody I had become. I know you love spending time with Arabella, but all your girls do are those video message things. We video call. It's only because she spends most of her time babysitting her little sister though. You know that? Yes, I know, sweetie. It will just be nice to see you going out and making new friends, especially seeing you make friends with Arcane too. I forgot to tell you, he came into the store yesterday. It was the order you left for me. His eyes got wide and he smiled. I miss your sense at meeting your new friends. Even better, you are making friends with customers. If I wasn't the first-hand witness, I would think you are lying to me. I laughed and Jen pushed his shoulder. I still won't call him a friend. He sighed in defeat. I gotta run now, Dad, but I will be back after school. Be safe, I love you. I love you too. Have a great day, Dad. The glass door of our store closed behind me. I smiled to myself. It felt nice that my dad cared so much about my social life, even if he occasionally embarrassed me to no end. The sky was clear blue and a gentle breeze blew my hair softly behind my shoulders. The energy today felt way different compared to the weird vibes from yesterday. I decided to stop at the coffee shop, Stellar Grind, which was only a few doors down from Snips. Then walked the path that circled around the campus to get some much needed exercise. When I finally got to school, coffee in tow, I was happy to see no other students were hanging around. Most of them were groggily dragging their feet to their 8 a.m. class they were late for. I felt a bit more motivated. Maybe my dad was right. It was time for me to get out of my comfort zone. Meeting new people couldn't hurt. Hey, that's what college is all about, besides studying of course. I had walked to the paths around campus plenty of times before, but usually stuck to the small loop that circled around the science buildings. Since I felt ready to expand my horizons, let's begin with changing my usual route. Where should I go? So we have technical training facilities, liberal art buildings and public access rooftops. So our friend is in here, liberal arts, so let's go to there. Arabelle always whined that I never went to visit her side of the campus. Today that was going to change. I turned towards the area where the liberal arts class were held, while shooting her a quick message. She had class today, but I wasn't sure of what time. I was hopeful she would be here early like I was. Luckily, she responded quickly, giving me a classroom number to meet her in. Lol! She ran over and gave me a tight hug. I smiled and immediately hugged her back. Hey Bella, you finally came to visit. Welcome to my favorite art studio. I look around at all the canvas, paintbrush and buckets of paint that were littered around the room. Let me show you what I've been working on. She pulled me over towards an easel propped up by the window. Her hand was covered in splatters of yellow and green paint. I chuckled to myself. She was so put together usually with beautiful outfits and perfectly applied makeup, but when she was working on piece, she'll get covered in paint. It is nearly done, so I'm excited you decide to visit me today. On the canvas was a scenic picture of two beautiful sunflowers. Their stems were intervening, waving up towards the top. A deep pink and purple sunset was painted behind them. It's beautiful, Bella. I looked back at her, then returned my gaze to the painting. The way the morning sunshine was streaming in made it look even more magical. Light yellow rays from the windows reflect off the flower petals. I'm glad you like it. She smiled and sat back on the stool behind her. You are so talented. I remember you started out with just stick figures back in high school. We both laughed, reminiscing how we first met. You were no better. I remember each of the assignments you turned in were anime characters. I blushed and covered my ears. Oh, please don't remind me. I'll never forget how Mr. Harrison said that your drawing heads always look like upside down pears. We both burst out laughing. I love spending time with her, even if it was rare how now that we both had our own lives and responsibilities to juggle. That is why you became the art major and I became the biomedical one. She slightly pushed my shoulder. Okay, smarty pants. What are you doing here so early anyway? I was half expecting you to still be in bed at home. I've been putting off this piece for a bit, and today it is due at noon, so... She looked off to the side, giving me a sheepish smile. Ah, Bella, stop procrastinating. It isn't procrastination. I just need to have that creative flow. I shook my head and smiled at her. We're very different, but our friendship worked perfectly. Let me only say, you never know what can happen. I glanced up at the clock, then gasped. I'm gonna be late. I didn't realize how much time I spent hanging out with her. Go, Dr. Snails, you can't be late. I laughed at her mocking tone and said a quick goodbye before rushing out the door. I smiled my old way back to class. Changing things up really was refreshing. Luckily, the day flew by, and once again my class went pretty smoothly. I had a bit of extra time before I had work again, so I decided to stop by the library. I was trying to be confident, but secretly I hope I wouldn't see Sullivan again. I knew I said I would try to be more social, but he was a bit intimidating with his energy. To my relief, the library was empty. I found a nice table situated in a corner and dropped my belongings off on the floor next to one of the chairs. I decided to just browse the book selections today. As I walked down the different aisles, my eyes landed on one of the large signs that depicted the genre of books located within. The word arcane was printed in large black lettering. Something about the aisles piqued my interest. I had seen it plenty of times before, but today I felt like actually exploring it. Maybe it was because of all the new students, or maybe I was just trying to explore something new like how I vowed to this morning. Deep down, I knew it was definitely because of the two boys I met yesterday. They were so normal. I was a bit curious about their worlds. I was still just an outsider, whose family just ran a shop to service them. The books lining the shelves were completely different from the novels found in the rest of the library. These were all old, leather-bound encyclopedias. I ran my hand down the spine of the book that caught my eye in particular. It was quite dusty, but overall looked like a modern printed book. I slid it off the shelf with my hands to get a better look at the title. Isolation Among the Isolated, the story of Divided. I hummed to myself as I quickly leafed through the page. It looked like It looked to be an autobiography written by someone who was also a divided god. This looks interesting. I spoke to myself quietly as I walked back to my table. I was a bit shocked to see someone else had sat there too. I didn't notice at first, but as I got closer I realized it was Sullivan's little brother. He looked surprised as I walked up to my seat, placing my book down. Lol? Hi, Queen, right? Yeah, what are you doing here? I gestured down towards my bag on the floor. I just walked away to find some reading material. You didn't see my things? I gave him a friendly smile as I spoke. He looked a bit spooked. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't go if I'm disturbing you. I didn't see your stuff there. He looked away sheepishly while blushing. I thought there was no one else sitting here. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to do some reading though. Ah, same here. Alright then. We both quietly looked at our books. It was a bit awkward, but after a few moments I forgot he was just sitting across from me. The book was interesting. It depicted the author's life of being a divided and how she never felt quite human. Her father was a cat and her mother was a human. After about an hour or so I collected my things and got up to put the book on the return cards. I wasn't a huge reader outside of school really. It was nice seeing you again. Quinn looked up at me and gave a polite smile. I didn't want to walk away without saying goodbye to him. I may have been shy, but I wasn't rude. Yeah, nice seeing you too. I think Sully wants you to hang out with him sometime, right? I internally groaned. I almost forgot about him. Yeah, I will have to get back to him. Quinn just nodded and gave me a small wave. Then I will see you around. Yep, have a good one. I finally walked away. Letting out a breath I felt like I had been holding in for the last hour. I guess I should text Sullivan and make plans. I could just hang out and see how it went. Besides, it was just for school. Maybe he was good at other subjects and could help me in return. I exited the library, heading back to Snips to begin my work shift. I did end up messaging Sullivan after Arabella nagging. She insisted that we had to meet cute boys, whether I like it or not. I wasn't trying to get a boyfriend, I just didn't want to be rude. I laid in bed while my chest was heavy with anxiety. Today was the day I agreed on finally hanging out with him. It had been 2 weeks since we first met. Jesus Christ, past 2 weeks. God. He would talk to me quite a bit in class and even occasionally catch up to me if he saw me out in the courtyard. I know he tried to meet up with me when we first met, but I ended up finding an excuse and asked for a rain check. He asked a couple more times after that, but I said I had to work. I won't say I was avoiding him specifically. I was just avoiding an uncomfortable situation. I did feel a bit bad though, he was being really nice to me. I clenched my fist under my sheets, trying to pump myself up. I swore to myself I'll get out of my comfort zone. And new friends is a good way to do that. If we hang out, maybe I will actually have a lot of fun. Even if it was awkward, at least Quinn was quiet too. He was polite and would speak occasionally if he was with Sullivan when I saw him, but overall he would just mind his own business. Sullivan would do most of the talking. He was quite chatterbox. I rolled over in bed looking over the text from last time we spoke. We agreed to meet at the library around 3:30 p.m. since that was when my last class ended. Let's get over with. I got ready for school and left shortly after saying goodbye to my dad. Today I felt like it was going to be eventful. It was around 3:30 and like I promised I was waiting for Sullivan in the library. I felt a bit strange to be waiting for a new friend after school. Even weirder was my new friend was part of the arcane community. He was kind, tall and harmless. I actually found myself to be a bit intrigued by him and his brother. They were unique, even compared to the other arcs here. During discs, he sat direct next to me, and every so often I would look over at him and catch him staring out the windows as if he was completely ignoring the teacher. He had a different feeling about him then, a bit calmer. He was nice and not as jarring as usual pushiness. We talked about meeting in the library once more while we packed up at the end of class today, Tom. I was a bit thrown off by his calm energy. He looked to be deeply in thought most of the time, unlike when I first met him. He seemed to be the type to just blurt out whatever came to mind usually. "Lol, I'm here," he yelled while bursting through the library doors. I jumped in surprise. Was he always going to be so extra? He was quickly greeted by aggressive shushing from the librarian and a few glares from other students seated at study tables. "I see. Were you running?" "Yeah, sorry. I have soccer practice at Stats and I had to get changed. But then I realized I was late to meet you, so I ran as fast as I could." He wiped sweat from his forehead with the back of his hand. I looked at my phone and saw the time was 3:37. I started to chuckle. He really thought 7 minutes late was this big of a deal? "Don't worry, I won't hold it against you. Let's head out. I need some snacks as soon as possible." I grabbed him by the shoulders and spun him towards the door. We walked together to the convenience store right off campus and grabbed a couple of bags of chips and some candy that Sullivan said is Queen's favorite. After securing our precious cargo, we headed in the direction of Sullivan's house. It was only a short walk from the university to his house. We went up from front steps and stood on the porch. I waited behind him as he opened the front door and proceeded to step to the side. "Ladies first." He gestured towards the door. I nodded him thanks, then stepped in. There were a couple of voices coming from the living room, and then insanely loud metal music being played from somewhere upstairs. "Welcome to my humble abode." Well, I guess it's my parents' humble abode, but the message still stands. I laughed in response and followed him into the living room. I saw a head of shaggy silver hair I recognized, but then right next to him was a grayish-blue being. Seeing what I was assumed to be a ghost out so casually made me feel interested. Let's say interested. Both boys looked over their shoulders and looked at me and Sullivan. "Hey guys, Queen, you know LOL already, but Eric, these are new friends. Nice to meet some new people in here, so Eric." The strange-looking boy leaned over the back of the sofa while giving me a genuine smile. The ghost was the most normal out of the three, honestly. He was quite casual, which put a bit more at ease. "Hey Eric, nice meeting you." "Hey Queen, well, make yourself comfortable. Take a seat anywhere. I'll go grab us a couple of sodas and I'll be right back." I was a bit overwhelmed by being thrown so suddenly into a new environment with several people I wasn't too close with, but I decided to play it cool. I chose to sit on the floor, cross-legged in front of the couch Eric and Queen sat on. I looked at TV and saw a pause screen for some sort of a game. "What are you guys playing?" I made eye contact with Queen first and like usual he blushed. "It's an ocean exploration game. Do you wanna watch some for a bit?" This was the most interaction I had with Queen so far, so I decided to take any chance I could get. "Sure, that sounds fun. Are there all types of marine life in it?" Queen nodded happily. "Yeah, here, we can show you." Eric leaned back into his original spot on the couch and smiled while looking at the screen. I noticed his movements were silent as he settled back into a comfortable position. Queen ended up getting super into showing me the different animals and explaining facts about them to me. It was convenient as it gave us something to talk about, but also I found it to be fun and interesting too. We were so focused on the game we didn't notice when Sullivan came back with the sodas he went to get at least 10 minutes ago. "Whoa, Queen, I don't think I've heard you be so comfortable with someone besides me or Eric in a long time." He popped down on the floor beside me. Queen gave an awkward smile, then laughed. "Well, she asked about some marine animals, so..." He trailed off and continued to control the submarine on the screen. I had to admit, Queen was really fun to talk to once you got him alone. Especially listening to him talk about different creatures was nice, and he was super passionate about marine life. I even got him to laugh once or twice with some corny ocean jokes, so I was pretty proud of myself. At first I thought he would be too shy to speak, but once he began talking about something he liked, he would ramble on and on. Yeah, it was fun, and I even learned there was a prehistoric shark before that was huge. Megalodon. Yes, that. Sullivan laughed and Flipper opened his statistics textbook. Where were you anyway? Is the kitchen down the street? Very funny, but nah. Our other brother upstairs was blasting his music too loud. You probably heard it when we came in. I can't focus when he does that. Apparently, while hanging out with the two boys in the living room, I got so distracted with crazy animals that I didn't notice the thumping from upstairs stopped. Okay, that makes sense. Let's finally get started on tonight's assignment then. I sighed while I started to look over the problems, but I was glad we had something to focus on. The four of us continued to hang out in the living room, Quinn playing his game and Eric watching, while Sullivan and I finally wrapped up our work. As I tucked my belongings back inside my bag, heavy footsteps came down the steps. Sully, are you gonna order us pizza or not? Plus, where the hell are our parrots? Shouldn't they be home by now? I froze in my spot on the floor when I heard the groove voice behind the couch. They are working late. They say this morning they got assigned a new case and it was complex one, so they won't be around for dinner. And as for pizza question, yes, let me call now. He pulled out his phone and began to dial the pizza place. I tried to shrink down and make myself blend in with the couch, but it was too late. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Of course you are in my house. Why wouldn't you be here, you fucking stalker? All the three boys I have spent the last couple of hours with shot dirty looks at Mr. Beach Boy. You two, enough. What the hell are you talking about? Sullivan stood up and gently pushed his brother back from the couch. That bitch there. She almost broke my shin with her iron skull. Now she somehow has gotten her way to our house. I reeled back from the tall man. Anger began to bubble in my stomach again. I refused to let him speak to me like that. I did not. The first thing was an accident, and yes, I may have hit your shin, and maybe my head is hard, but I got the bruise from your fucking pointy ass triangle shin. Also, I didn't somehow get you to your house. I was invited. I didn't know you lived here. But I'm not the creepy one who hovers over girls or randomly screams at people. Just the sheer gall of this kid drove me crazy. Well, you two, don't be a creep, please. I hope this is just a series of misunderstandings. Please apologize to our guest. Her name is Lol. He backed down quickly. I guess Sullivan was rude to get him under control. Yeah, whatever. I'm always you two. I'm sorry for my brother's behavior, lol. He was acting like a child and looked annoyed towards the floor. The previous fight in him seemed to be reined in for now. After that whole dramatic scene, it took a few minutes for the awkwardness to dissipate. I was a bit shaken by Yuto's outburst. I took a deep breath, trying to enjoy myself once again. Yuto decided to sit on the ottoman off to the side of the room and give me a dagger eyes if I dared to look in his general direction. He really had a personal problem with me. I tried to brush it off for now. Sullivan called for peace, and after I had some more marine conversation with Quinn and tried to avoid Yuto at all costs, it finally arrived. We all sat on the floor in a circle around the pizza box. I made light conversation while eating. Surprisingly, I felt quite comfortable with them. I guess my plan at opening and exploring new horizons was beginning to work. The past 2 weeks of randomly running to Sullivan and Quinn did help me feel a bit more at ease being with them now. They may have been acquaintances, but I was beginning to warm up to them. Although Yuto was still being mean, the other guys made me feel as thought I was part of their group. It was nice to chat with them and get to know them more. I learned that each one of the boys were arcs, of course. The only one who looked totally like a human was Yuto, so I couldn't quite guess what he could be. Maybe a werewolf? I wasn't surprised to learn Eric was a ghost that Sullivan met a long time ago. Ghosts were pretty rare to see out in public, but they did exist, normal hiding place living beings don't roam. Huh, so this guy is a ghost. What? Okay, that's interesting. Eric was quite cheeky though. After speaking to him for a while, I forgot he was technically dead. As we spoke, Sullivan decided to introduce himself quite dramatically. As you know, I'm your friendly neighborhood caster. He snapped his fingers, causing a few snowflakes to form and fall from his hands for a couple of seconds. I knew a bit about magic thanks to my mom and Snips, but it was a bit uncomfortable to see it being used so casually in front of me. The snap was just for dramatic effect. My thing is ice and snow, of course, because these marks, so it could only be about ice, of course. He then nudged Queen. Our little vampire is right here. So, of course, because you could see when Queen smiled, he had like those teeth of vampires. So, Queen, it had to be a vampire. See, there is the teeth. Okay. Queen swatted his broad hand away and began to blush. He's shy about it, but he is the typical vampire boy, minus some of the stuff humors made up in movies before the reveal acts. No, he does not sparkle, burn up in the sun, and he was never a corpse. Sully. I just nodded, not wanting to make Queen more uncomfortable than he already seemed to be. But I did have a ton of questions for him, as I never got the chance to have a real conversation with a vampire before. As you already know, I'm a ghost. I was a human before I died, but I don't remember much before then. I was just hung out in alleys around town, but Sully convinced me to start hanging out with this pack of losers and be an active part of the community. Quinn looked up and stuck his tongue out at Eric before throwing a piece of pizza crust at him. It whooshed right through Eric's left shoulder. Yeah, that happens too. The four of us laughed at the absurdity of the situation, but you two only let out a snort. I looked at Sullivan, then cautiously to Yuto. I wanted to ask what Yuto's speech was, but wasn't sure if I was ready for another barrage of insults. Incubus. I was shocked when he spoke, as if he could read my mind. I all heard about incubi briefly in class. I remember they were the male from a form of succubus. Oh, okay. So it seems that incubi is the male form from succubus. Okay, the female sex demons, but other than that, I didn't know much about them. But I was not about to try to pry any info from Yuto and his short temper. He really didn't seem like the sexual type though. I just nodded in agreement, not ready to push my luck. We finished the pizza pretty fast and everyone began to slowly disperse. Yuto went back to his room without a word while Quinn sat on continuing his game. Eric said something about ghost activities, was not gonna question that one. Sullivan went to the kitchen to clean the dish from dinner. I sat in my spot on the floor and felt a bit awkward. I guess I should go to the kitchen to help Sullivan, stay in the living room with Queen, go to the bathroom before leaving. No, like I think when you go to someone's house you should always help to clean, at least. So let's help chapter 1, a clear winter's night. Like help Sullivan to clean the dish. So now this only now starts the first chapter. Jesus. I started to feel out of place sitting on the living room floor for a while, so I decided to see what Sullivan was doing in the kitchen. As I grabbed my bag and stood up, Quinn gave me a quick glance, hardly taking his eyes off TV. I'm gonna go see if Sullivan needs a hand cleaning up. In all response, I turned back towards the TV, clearly focused on following some giant octopus around this game. As I passed the staircase on my way to the kitchen, I heard the same music from earlier top upstairs. I think it's like they say chapter 1 because it's like there's 4 chapters that is depending of who you want to talk. So I think the 4 chapters are, the first chapter is Sullivan, the second it was who? It was maybe Queen, the third maybe it was Eric, and the fourth will be Yuto, maybe. It's kind of hard to know correct, but maybe it's like that. I rolled my eyes and shook my head in disbelief. How could someone as obnoxious as Yuto to be related to Sullivan and Quinn? Sullivan's back was facing me as I entered the kitchen. He was softly humming while rising off plates and loading them into the dishwasher. Hey, do you need a hand? He jumped a little when I spoke. He must have been lost in his own world for me to scare him like that. We both giggled at what had just happened. Well, you scare me. It's alright, I can handle it. There isn't much anyway. But hey, I won't mind some company here. He gestured over to the kitchen table and chairs. I pulled a chair out and turned it sideways to face him while we spoke. I hope my tutoring wasn't too bad. Don't worry, you helped me a lot. Plus it is nice to just hang out sometimes and enjoy the company of others. I shrugged. Honestly, I barely even helped him with the assignment. He helped me more than anything. As I watched him rinse another plate, I began to realize that maybe he just wanted to hang out and become friends, and didn't mind at that all. Well, for your information, I did have fun today. Your brothers are nice. Well, you two is interesting. Your friend Eric is cool though. Sullivan laughed. He finished loading the dishwasher and turned around to face me. I couldn't tell if it was the way he was leaning against the sink or the shirt he was wearing, but the muscles in his arms were suddenly more noticeable. I could feel my eyes staring and my cheeks turning red. I should be ogling at my friend like this. Yeah, you two can be bit off-putting. It takes some time to get used to. It gets better once you get to know him though. When I first met him, he was actually worse. First met? His eyes widened and he paused. Did I say something wrong? Oh my god, how could I forget? I'm so stupid. Yeah, we are all adopted. Our moms are cast, so we still grew up in an arcane household. I was adopted when I was an infant. Yutu was around 6 years old and Quinn was actually adopted when he was 12. I didn't know what to say. If their moms are anything like Sullivan, I would love to meet them. He spoke so pleasantly about them both, and the way he spoke about being adopted, it was something he wasn't ashamed of. I really liked that about him, so I decided to continue listening and nodded my head. I know you two can be a pain in the butt, but the more you come over, you will get used to each other. Just don't catch him on his bad days. He laughed. Hey, Quinn likes you though. He was actually the one I was more worried about when I invited you over. Wait, Quinn? What were you worried about? Quinn is really shy around new people, but I'm glad you guys got along almost instantly. When we hang out tomorrow, hopefully you two will give it another chance to get to know you. He gave me a cheeky smile. Yeah, Quinn is a sweet kid. And hey, wait! Who say I was gonna hang out with you tomorrow? I pretended to be angry and threw a nearby napkin at Sullivan. He caught it out of the air. I honestly wouldn't mind spending some more time with him. Well, all of them. They were an interesting bunch. Don't deny it, lol. You can't wait to hang out again. How could you when there is free food involved? You got me there. He glanced over at the clock on the wall. There were several framed photographs below the clock. I noticed one of them showed a young caster, a young Sullivan. As he realized what I locked onto, he nerves tried to avert my eyes. I didn't realize how late it was as gotten. I ignored him and walked over to get a better look at the picture. He shuffled up quickly behind me. He was frantically trying to stop me from looking. It was kind of cute. No, don't look at that. My parents refused to take it down. He was obviously embarrassed by the photo, but it was so endearing. He was a cute kid. He tried to block the picture with his hands, but his attempt was futile as I used my body to push him back. Oh my god, is that a ball cut? Look at your little sweeter. I began to laugh, he groaned in embarrassment. Haha, very funny. I was 8 years old and my moms did that to me. No, don't worry, it's cute. You are cute. We stopped wrestling after we both realized what I said. Sullivan blushed and looked away. I didn't mean to picture of him as a kid, but I wasn't going to deny that he's still cute now. He clapped his hands in a way to wrap things up and to clear the awkward atmosphere. Right, enough making fun of me. It's getting late anyway. The giant tried to escort me towards the front door. No, I need to take a picture of it, please. The ball cut is iconic. I couldn't keep my giggles to myself. Admittedly, yeah, it was one of those embarrassing childhood photos where when you look back you think, why was this outfit allowed? But it was priceless and I needed to save it to look at later. After attempting to dash back into the kitchen to get one more look, I realized it was pushing 10 PM, so I headed for the front door. After all, I told my dad I wouldn't be out too late. I didn't want to worry him. I guess I should get going. I could walk you home if you like. Let's say no. It's alright, you don't have to. It's only a short walk anyway. Alright, I need to be well rested anyway for tomorrow. I have soccer tournament at 9 in the morning. It should be finished around 3 p.m., so it's quite a long day. He put the back of his hand to his forehead and pretended to faint. I laughed at how dramatic he was. But wait, it's cold. Here, take this. He grabbed a hoodie out of the hall closet and handed it to me. I blushed and took the piece of clothing from his hand. He was right, the nights in September were still colder than the warm afternoons. I forgot my own sweater at home this morning since I didn't expect to be out past dark. As I put the hoodie on, I realized it smelled a bit like Sullivan, a touch of mint and sandalwood. Thank you so much. Hold on, I thought you said I had to hang out with you tomorrow? I gave him a bit of side eye. My suspicions grew slightly. Yeah, at the tournament. I'll see you there. I'll text you the details later. Now come on, I need to get my beauty sleep. Before I could object, I was halfway out the door. As I stood on the porch, I shook my head and smiled. Sullivan really was a whole castle ride. I couldn't wait to tell Arabella about all of this. A few minutes later, I made it home only to be harassed by my dad. He asked all sorts of questions about who I was with. I filled in on the details. The only part he was interested in was that Sullivan plays soccer. I'm gonna have to pick his brain about sports sometimes. And he's a caster too. Maybe I can get him to help around the store with those fancy powers of his. You are not using him for free labor. Good night, Dad. I rolled my eyes and went to get ready for bed. I said I didn't intend to spend my relaxing weekend off going to a soccer game, but at least I will see Sullivan more. I just need to wait for his text with all the details. When I finally got settled in bed, I hit the video chat button to call Arabella. I figured she'll still be awake since tomorrow was Saturday and there were no class. After a few rings, she finally picked up. Finally, I thought I would never hear from you today. What's up, girl? Let's save only. Because we passed a lot of text. I groaned. This was gonna take a while. I spent the next hour filling her about Sullivan, Quinn, Yoto, and Eric. And now you're going to his soccer tournament tomorrow? He thought wants to. No. I about cut her off before she went down that rabbit hole. She did make me laugh though. Any mention of a boy in my life and she'll freak out like this. So, do you want some company for this thing tomorrow? Because, let's be honest girl, we don't care about the actual game. I want to get a good look at this guy, and you do too, especially when he's wearing athletic shorts. Don't get any ideas? I squint my eyes at her. Don't worry, I won't steal your man, I just want to make sure he isn't a creep or something. You really are something, Bella, but fine, I can ask him if you can come along too. As I said that, an alert popped up on the screen. It was the text from Sullivan. Shit, he just texted me. Now hold on. Okay, I will wait. So press enter. Sorry for catching you off guard about the tournament, but I want to hang out tomorrow. I figure if you come to see the last game of the day, then we can head somewhere to eat afterwards. I smile as I type the text back to him. I'll be there, just give me a time and place. Also, my friend is interested in coming. Do you mind if I bring her along? I wait a few seconds before his response popped up. Sure thing, the more the merrier. The fields are in town, the ones by Oliver Park. So the last game starts around 1 p.m, but if you come around noon 30, I can hang out with you for a bit. But warned, I may smell worse than the gym lockers at sport camps. My heart sank slightly. As much as I love Arabella, I was hoping to spend some time alone with Sullivan. But I'm sure she'll get best Fred called and know when to give us some space. Besides, I was happy Sullivan wanted to see me again in general. Okay, we'll be there. I'm gonna head to sleep now. Good night. Sweet dreams. Alright, enough. I've been watching you with that cheesy smile on your face for 5 minutes now. What's tomorrow's plan? So we are heading to the soccer fields by Olive Park. It's said to be around noon 30, but if you wanna come to my place before, that's cool. Okay, I'll be at Snips at 11. I need to sleep in tomorrow. We spent the rest of the night talking about anything and everything. I love your nightly video calls. Around midnight we say good night and I fell asleep excited for tomorrow. The next morning I woke up feeling pretty excited. I mean, I was just going to a soccer tournament, but it was nice to spend the day with friends again. I shot Sullivan a quick good luck message. He responded a few minutes later with a smiling emoticon. I guess he was already busy with his first game. I had a couple of hours to kill before Arabella would be showing up, so I decided to take a shower and get ready. When I was deciding on what to wear, I felt like I should put a little more effort into my appearance, just throw on some clothes and brush my hair. Now, into my appearance, right? It's better always. I decided to put a bit more effort into my appearance than usual, besides I don't often get a chance to. Even if it was just for a soccer game, we were going to get something to eat afterwards. After rummaging my clothes for a good 10 minutes, I chose to wear my cute overall shorts with a yellow crop top underneath. I took a quick shower and styled my hair up in a nice ponytail. I decided to go with a yellow scrunchie to match my top. I made sure to leave my bangs out to frame my face. I went with some light makeup and spritzed my favorite body spray all over me. Okay. Finally, I slid on my white tennis shoes and headed downstairs, ready to go. I still had some time to spare before Arabella was due to arrive. I was sure there were a couple of odd jobs I could finish around the shop. I helped my dad sort out of some labels on different herbal remedies for a while until I heard the family sound of the bell chimming at the front door. I peered around the corner and there was Arabella. She always looked so stunning, yet made it seem so effortless. Hey lol, hey George. Arabella, my other favorite daughter, how are you? I sat and gave my dad the dagger eyes. I wasn't ready to be embarrassed by him again. It hadn't been even 24 hours since the last incident. I'm great, I think we got to get running though. We are a little bit late. She arrived around 11:45 am. Now we had to be there at noon 30 pm. It will take us at least 20 minutes to walk to the park. I wasn't too worried though, I expect her to be late as usual. Lol, let's get going to this soccer game. I need to meet this mysterious man who swept you off your feet. My feet have not been swept, thank you very much. He just asked me to come as a friend to cheer him on. Plus, I think his brothers will be there too. You had me at brothers. Are they hot? Can you set me up with one? Not the younger one though, I'm not into that. I laugh at how ridiculous she was all the time. Trust me, you won't be into the other one either. But if you are into ghosts, they do have a friend that lives with them. He's probably single. She scrunched up her face in confusion. Before she could ask any questions, I pushed her out the front door. Before saying goodbye to my dad and the way out. I was thankful he didn't get too nosy again. We are at the park right on time. The whole way over, Arabella was asking every question under the sun about the boys. Her interrogation room was less stressful than her questions. She was fascinated about their arcane lifestyle. Unlike me, she grew up in a total woman household. We became friends in high school, so she never got to meet my mother. So Arabella is woman. Okay. Her personal experience were only with customers who came to Snips and Snails. She used to visit more space where the arcade community still lived in secret, as she was so intrigued to learn about them. My father and I, along with our regular arcade customers, trusted her to keep the shop's true identity under wraps, which she did. But that didn't matter when the reveal act came into place, of course. I was a bit unsure where to go once we located soccer fields. I didn't see Sullivan anywhere. So I guess we found a spot to sit, or... He said he was going to meet us when we got here. Let's just look around for a bit. Before I got too far, I spotted three familiar figures on the bleachers. Quinn, Newt and Eric were all sitting at the lowest section. Sullivan was drinking from a water bottle standing in front of them. Oh, there they are. Ira followed behind me as I made my way over to the group. Sullivan and I locked eyes as we were only a few yards away. I suddenly felt a bit bashful. Lol, you made it. We walked up to the boys and stood next to Sullivan. I gave the boys on the bleachers a wave. Quinn and Eric both waved back, but you two just nodded. I was surprised he would come out to a sports event. I quickly introduced Arabella to all the guys, and I could already tell she was gonna start harassing you two. My next game is starting soon, but I'm glad we can chat for a bit. Do you need anything to drink? The concession stand is open. He was speaking to me, but the rest of the group decided to chime in with their orders. I'll take a Coke if you're heading over there. She was sitting next to U2, who already looked like he was going to blow a gasket. Be wary, traveler, for you are entering dangerous territory. I looked to Sullivan and shrugged. Everyone else just asked for waters, so we hurried over to the stand before Sullivan was due to be ready for the next game. I really am happy you are here, and thanks for wishing me good luck earlier. We won our first game thanks to you. I look at him a bit puzzled. I didn't do anything, I just sent a message. Yeah, but your message helped me motivate the goalie and we had clean 2-0 leads. The goalie? Oh! I just now realized he was wearing goalie uniform. I felt a bit excited to see him in action. Well, good luck again. I'm looking forward to watching you play. I blushed at how appreciative he was for a simple text of support. I wonder if my support in person will be even more helpful. As I began to ask him how the game went, we were next up to order our drinks. Of course, Sullivan insisted on carrying out ice cold bottles back to the bleachers. I suppose he could have done with the ice cold sensation to cool him down. As we strolled back, we were laughing about what happened last night with my dad. I suddenly remember I forgot to return his hoodie to him. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to bring your hoodie back. Thanks for letting me borrow it again. No problem, don't worry about it. He paused for a moment and looked to the players warming up on the field before turning back to me. I don't mind if you keep it. I smiled at myself. It was a little bit thrilling to own a guy's hoodie. I certainly didn't mind keeping Sullivan's hoodie, especially since whatever cologne he used smells so nice. Eventually we approached everyone back at the bleachers since we did walk quite slowly. A part of me was sad that Sullivan had to leave to warm up for the next game. The tiny exchange we just had felt meaningful. As we sat and waited for the game to start, we all chat amongst ourselves. Quinn was playing some strategy game on his phone. It involved the ocean, of course. Arabelle was a couple rows above me talking with Utu, and from the looks of it, she was grilling him into answering questions. Surprising, Utu didn't seem to be blowing up and fighting back. He looked like he was giving her one word response, of course with a very serious look on his face, but Arabelle seemed to be happy. I looked around the field to see if I could spot Sullivan amongst the crowd of arcanes and humans warming up. When I finally spotted him, he was stretching his calves and speaking to one of his teammates. Your friend seems nice. Either you two woke up on the right side of his bed this morning, or your friend has put a magical spell on him because he hasn't stormed off yet. I laughed at Quinn's stab towards his older brother. It was a little funny how they almost expect him to storm off and get angry all the time. I shot Arabelle a sneak text and looked up at her, waiting for her to check her phone. Stop interrogation the incubus. I will look at her phone and smiled, then winked at me. I sneaked at her. It's okay, he's used to human females. His powers tend to make him more attractive to them sometimes. Hey, you two. Quit using your weird sex magic on my best friend. He shot at me a piercing dirty look, then waved his hand in the air, almost hitting the person sitting next to him. For your information, I can't control it sometimes, but thanks for putting me on the spot like that. Fuck. Arabelle looked a bit out of sorts for a moment. She then got up and climbed downstairs to sit by my side. Yutu stayed where he was and continued huffing, mumbling under his breath. Remind me to never hang out with an incubus again. I told you to be careful. Suddenly an announcer's voice boomed through the speakers above us. Attention players, round 3 will be starting shortly. Can the Edgewood Eagles and the Albertstown Strikers make their way to the Olive Chamberlain Memorial Field? Refreshments will be available during the game. Thank you. There was a loud click and then silence. I watched both teams spread out to their positions on the field. Sullivan stole out to the net on our right. Surprisingly, I really enjoyed watching the game. It was really fun one too. Of course, we cheered for Sullivan, who was an impressive goalie. Thanks to him, around 3 or 4 goals were saved. We waited for a few moments for Sullivan to appear from the changing rooms areas. Once he was done with his after-match briefing with the team, he jogged over with his soccer bag slung over his shoulder, but still donning his uniform. He looked pleased to see us all. with a slight exhausted look to his face. He fixed up his hair and coughed his breath. I hope you are hungry, because I'm starving. I could do with some food. I know this great place right by Lol's place. We should go there. I think they have dinner special too. Sounds good to me. Let's head there. I figured this was the perfect time to hint to Arabella that I want to spend some time alone with Sullivan. I made a quick hand motion at her. Arabella, being my best friend, picked up on it straight away. We all stood up and grabbed our belongings. Arabella led the way as we ventured out of the park. I didn't notice Sullivan walk next to me to hang out and talk. I hope you had fun today. Did I look good on the pitch? Definitely, you look great out there. That last save was crazy. I never knew goalies threw their bodies like that. It left a grass stain on your sides. He laughed and that usual smile was plastered on his face. I hardly even noticed when it happened. I thought I do feel the bruise on my legs and side though. Gosh, I hope the restaurant doesn't mind me looking like a mess. I nudged him with my arm and told him, you never look a mess. If you get turned away, I'm blaming you. No, you never look a mess. Don't worry, you never look a mess. He blushed as he rubbed the back of his neck. You never look a mess either. It was an awkward compliment, but I still felt my heart flutter at his words. Sullivan was super friendly, but I think flirting wasn't his strong suit. Besides, we were just friends. Why was I even thinking about flirting, especially with the first male cast I've been close with? We all made it to the restaurant after walking and talking for a bit. Yutu said that he didn't like Italian food and that the restaurant was too stuck up for his liking. Not sure where he got that idea from, but it was his loss. Eric left with Yutu to keep him company, and besides, ghosts didn't need to eat. I grew at realization. We sat in one of the booths with Sullivan and I on one side and Queen and Arabella on the other. It's so nice to see Lol making more friends. We hardly ever get to go out. I kicked under the table lightly. She didn't have to expose me for being a loner. We just met not too long ago, but it feels like I know her longer. She's taken to our group quite well. He tossed his arms around my shoulders casually. I suddenly was hyper aware of his muscles flexing against my back. Annabelle raised her eyebrows. Well, as long as you kids don't get into any trouble, I suppose I can leave her to your care every once in a while. Thank you, mother, for your blessing. I sat dumbfounded. Did Annabelle just give some her blessing for him to be my friend? What on earth was happening? Quinn looked up from his menu with the same confused look as mine. The waitress came over just in time to save me from any more weird conversations. As we ordered, Sullivan finally removed his arm off my shoulders. Lol, Arabella, are you coming over after this? I looked to Arabella, unsure of what she wanted to do. She gave me a sheepish smile. Sorry, I can't actually have a date. I rolled my eyes knowing what that meant. She was going out with her ex, James. They were constantly on and off again. That's fine. Lol, you can come by again? Plus, it sounds like Quinn was hoping you'll want to anyway. He pointed his fork full of lasagna at Quinn. I didn't say that. I was just asking. Quinn, I fake gasped. Does that mean you don't want me to come over? His face turned super red and his mouth opened and closed, unsure of what to say. The rest of us all laughed. He then pouted it in the corner, annoyed at teasing. Dinner passed by surprisingly fast. I suppose that's what happens when you are surrounded by good company. The chemistry between us all was so natural, I lost track of the conversation. Considering we had two very big personalities between the four of us, there was never a time I worried about awkward silence. We could talk for hours. Ironically, we did stay for at least 2 more hours after we had finished eating. We all realized we had been there so long because the waitress kept giving us impatient glares from across the room. I'm sure the big tip we left improved her mood and made it worth it. After we left, Arabelle said goodbye to the rest of us and walked towards what I could only assume was James' house. I walked between Quinn and Sullivan as we made our way towards their room. I was feeling pretty tired, but was still enjoying the evening nonetheless. Once we got to their house, Sullivan dumped his bag in the hallway and kicked off his soccer cleats. I followed the two boys into the living room. Youth was slouched on the couch reading a book. He glanced up at us, then back down without saying a word. Do you guys want to watch a movie or something? I'm beat. I shrugged. Sure, I could go for a movie. What do you have in mind? Maybe we can watch that documentary about the whales at the ocean world? No way, Queen. Way too sad. We don't want to cry. I heard about that movie. It sounds depressing. Maybe another time, Queen? I'm in the mood for a comedy. What do you guys think? They both nodded in agreement. After a few minutes of figuring out what snacks we wanted and where to sit, we all settled and ready to watch the film. Youth surprised wanted to join us and lay on the floor with a pillow. Sullivan, Queen, and I took our place on the couch. The movie started out pretty slow, but eventually had some funny moments. It was something about a family road trip gone wrong. Halfway through, I felt a heavy weight thumped against my shoulder. I was surprised when I saw Sullivan totally asleep. I didn't know what to do. I felt rude to move and wake him up, so I tried to sit completely still for the rest of the movie, despite it being uncomfortable at times. As the credits rolled across the screen, I noticed I was the only person awake in the room. Youth was quite snoring on the ground, and Queen was curled up in the corner of the couch. It was beginning to make me yawn, seeing everyone sleeping peaceful. It was getting late too. I gently moved my body into the hopes to wake Sullivan up. Lucky he did, with a rather confused look. Huh? What are you doing here? Wait, oh. He looked embarrassed for a second. Did I fall asleep? I'm sorry, jeez. Don't worry about it. I glanced over to where Queen was to see if he had woken up, but he was fast asleep. I whispered over to Sullivan. I guess everyone was pretty tired. I do have to head out now, Tom. I got up to grab my bag and shoes before I was pulled back. Sullivan grabbed my hand and squeezed it, making me pause in place. His magical markings glowed slightly more in the darkness. Let me walk you home. He looked more serious than usual, so I didn't object. He quietly left. Our walk was mostly spent in silence, except for me feeling him in other parts of the movie that he missed. We eventually made it to Snips. Thanks for coming again, lol. I really like hanging out with you. He sounded much more serious than normal. I blushed. Yeah, of course, anytime. It was a lot of fun. He stared at me for a second, as if he was thinking about something. I held my breath. Well, I guess I should let you go to sleep. We'll hang out again soon, yeah? I'll see you at school on Monday. Yeah, I'll see you then. He began to walk away before I added, Be safe, text me when you get home. He turned around and gave me a sweet smile. Of course. I walked inside and parted the ways. I smiled at myself as I locked the door. That night, as I lay in bed, I felt a warm tingle in my chest thinking about my new friends. Arabelle was right earlier. It was super nice to make new friends and get out of the shop more. While sleeping, my arms experienced a strange numbing sensation a few times during the night, which I thought I was a bit weird and annoying. Either way, I was super excited for Monday to see everyone again. Chapter 2, A Morning's Fury. Okay, so this, what I was thinking in the beginning, it wasn't what I was thinking. So maybe that choice to start chapter 1 is the choice then you progress with the story, is what I think. Okay, like if you go to home, the story will be totally different. Okay. So I was totally wrong about the chapters, how it will be. Okay. Over the next couple of weeks, I spent most of the time working on campus or hanging out with Sullivan and his group. Arabelle will join occasionally. I think she just liked to come to make face at me over how close Sullivan and I had become. I mean, we have been hanging non-stop, and if we weren't hanging out in person, we texted each other constantly. Today was like any other day. I was heading over to Sullivan's house. I was still helping him out in class, but honestly, he didn't really need it anymore. Every time I will ask if he wants any help with his homework, he will either dismiss the question or change the subject. He was more focused on us hanging out more and more. We dropped our bags on the floor in the entrance and made our way to the living room. I flopped onto the couch to my now usual place, and Sullivan did the same, almost sitting on top of me to get the usual place right next to me. I'm not feeling homework today. I can't believe we are assigned double the normal amount this week since she cancelled next week's class. Sullivan rolled over to face me. I don't mind it so much. It just gave me a good excuse to get you to hang out with me. I blush at his boldness. I mean, we spent a lot of time together now, even outside of school-related activities. We didn't have to have a reason to ask me to hang out. Plus, in between class or on my days off, I will sometimes drop by to see his soccer practice. I nudged his shoulder. Idiot. You don't need to have an excuse to ask me to hang out. We can spend time together whenever you know. He looked off to the side for a minute before clapping his hands. Well, let's get crackling on this so we can do something fun then. We got to work. Later, as we finished and began to pack up our books, I stopped to look at Sullivan. Wait a minute, you never really need my help in statistics, did you? He looked at me like a deer caught in headlights. He scratched at the back of his neck and began to archly laugh. Well, no, there was... Okay, fine, you got me. From the moment we met, you were super interesting to me, so I need a good excuse to get to know you better. I raised an eyebrow at him. Interesting? He really has liked me from the start. Well, from now on, Mr. Alatar, we can't continue our meetings, but I will no longer be known as your tutor. Our studies have come to a competition. There goes that naughty student teacher fantasy out the window for you, Sullivan. We both jumped, not knowing Eric was in the living room with us. Sullivan was bright red. Once I realized what Eric meant, I felt my cheeks growing warm. Eric, lol, that's not true, he made that up. I never thought of anything like that. Eric began to laugh at us and the situation that he made awkward. You are both perverts. Sullivan growled and rushed at Eric across the living room. If I could hit you, I will right now. Get out, you phantom. Eric headed out of the room, chortling to himself. He always teased Sullivan. It happened pretty much every time I would come over. It was pretty fun too. Sometimes I was thrown into it too. After Eric was gone, Sullivan rubbed his face. Don't worry about it. I know how he is. I gave him a reassuring smile. We were back to lying on the couch together. I lay at one end with my feet up, while Sullivan did the same from the other hand. I kept trying to ignore how our legs were entangled across the middle. Lol, you are pretty easygoing. Just another thing I like about you. I must have lost count at the amount of times Sullivan made me blush. He could always give me these casual compliments. I knew he didn't mean anything by them. He was just being kind, but every compliment was so endearing to hear. Oh, by the way, I want to ask you something. Go on. He hesitated at first, then cleared his throat. You remember the park we went for my soccer tournament? They are having a fall festival there this weekend. I was wondering if you wanna come. I was slightly curious as to why he was acting so coy. Normally he would boldly tell me the time and the place. This was a first. I smiled at him, laying on the other hand of the couch across from me and wiggled my foot, eating his calf. Of course. Just give me a time and place, I'll be there. Shall I ask Carabao to join us too? Are the guys coming? His blush was even more noticeable now. Well, I was thinking more just you and me this time. My eyes widened and the room suddenly felt 5 times larger and an imaginary spotlight was just placed on me. Was he asking me on a date? Surely not, I doubt it. Yeah, we occasionally flirted, but it was all just friendly banter, right? I played it cool, trying not to look overly enthusiastic. That sounds good. He seemed relieved with my answer and his nervous face changed to a light smile. I really couldn't shake the thought that this could be a date. We laid in silence for the next hour, scrolling our phones until I got a text from my dad asking me to mind the store until closing. I got to head out. Dad's asking me to close the shop tonight. Luckily, it was only 6 p.m, so I only had to spend a couple of hours at the shop, and besides, I could leave the extra cash to spend at the festival. I looked at Sullivan, waiting for him to move first. Every time I was ready to head home, Sullivan insisted on walking me back. But by now, it was an unspoken agreement he would accompany me, and I almost expect it every time now. We got up and stretched. Sullivan grabbed his jacket and I grabbed what I had now become my hoodie, even though technically it was still his, and we headed out the door. It was beginning to get dark as we stood outside of Snips. Sullivan had the familiar expression on his face like he was thinking about something. Hey, well, do you think it will be cool with your dad if I hang out with you until closing? I laughed at how polite he was and nodded my head. Yeah, of course. What, you can't get enough of me? I walked into the store with Sullivan following closely behind. I heard him speak quietly. You are not wrong. I think he was under the impression that I didn't hear him, but I did, very clearly, so I did my best to hide the small smile off my face. I pulled up 2 stools behind the counter, took a seat, I patted the second stool and invited Sullivan over. He was fingering through a few vials situated in the display on the counter. So you guys sell these potions, right? But have you ever actually seen them in action? I was curious as to what he was getting at. No, I mean, I know the effect, but honestly there's bottles in here I never ever even touched. Remember, I never really properly met or got too close with any arts beside my mom until I met you and your gang of misfits. He slid his stool closer to me and pulled out a small bottle from his pocket. Well, remember those herbs you sold my mom's? They used them to make this up for me. What does it do? It makes it so my magicka is dampened. It makes my marks disappear. Depending on how much I drink, sometimes they can be gone for minutes or days. Heard about this potion before. It was used before the reveal act so casters could leave masquerading as humans. The herbs I sold to him a while ago were used for many potions, so I had no idea at that time what they were going to make with them. You don't need to hide though. Why did they make you a new bottle? Sullivan shrugged and had a distant look on his face. Sometimes feels good to just look normal, I guess. But I was gonna offer to make some for you if you have never got to see what potions can do. I shook my head and put my hand over his holding the potion. I don't want you to take anything that will change your appearance. Plus, you don't need to anymore. The Reveal Act made discrimination against arcane illegal. I just thought maybe you'll want to see what I would like if I was human or something. I now understood why you want to take it. It was worried I still felt unsure about our friendship since he was arcane. Squeeze his hands, or you are fine the way you are. You are fine. You never have to be something you are not for me, Sullivan. I am your friend because of who you are. Even if you are an arcane, that doesn't bother me at all. He smiled back at me. He stuffed the potion back into his pocket. He looked relieved at my words. I couldn't believe he thought I was uncomfortable because of his marks. Why do you think I will want to see you without your magic showing anyway? I rubbed his shoulder lightly to reassure him. I just felt like, well, this might be kinda weird, but I feel like sometimes I'll catch you looking at them. I thought maybe they made you uncomfortable. I realized now my occasional ogling at his body did not go unnoticed, but I was misinterpreted. No, they are part of you. They are great. I promise I wasn't looking at them. He leaned over towards me and wiggled his eyebrows, his normal silly behavior returning. So, what were you looking at, Miss Snails? I pushed his face away from me and laughed. And let's end this conversation. I spent the rest of the time listening to Sullivan try to teach me different effects caused by potions. I enjoyed learning from him. Sadly, the 2 hours we had passed quickly and he had to leave as I locked up. Here, let me walk you out. We made our way to the front of the shop. What was only a short distance from the counter to the floor felt twice as far. Good night, lol. He reached his hand out towards me and brushed a piece of my hair behind my ear. I looked down at the ground, then back up at him. I never realized how much taller he was than me. Good night, Sullivan. Text me when you get home, please. Smile at him. I flashed him a sweet smile. Before I knew, he pulled me into his arms briefly. I returned his hug gently. I'll message you when I get home. Go get some rest. We broke apart and I gave him a small wave as he turned to walk back home. I rushed upstairs to the apartment, slapping my cheeks to try and calm my quickening heartbeats. I knew I was going to have trouble sleeping. I tried to video call Arabella, but there was no response. I sent a text to let her know what happened. I knew if I didn't tell her right away, she would hold it against me. I lay in bed later that night, still mulling over what happened between Sullivan and I. I was pulled out of my thoughts by my phone chiming. Hey, sorry I got home and I had to take care of some stuff real quick. No problem, thanks for walking me home again. Anytime. I'm so excited for the festival this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. What time are we meeting and where? Whatever is easiest for you. And wear something comfy. We are gonna be in a pumpkin patch. How about you come pick me up at Snips around 10 a.m.? It's a date. Of course he had to say something like that. My mind went into overdrive thinking about everything. Wear something comfy, are you kidding? He said dates, I gotta look good. Is he into me? Wait, am I into him? All of panic was giving me a slight headache. I don't know why I was worried so much, it was just Sullivan. We got really close in the time that I've known him. I felt like I left him on the read for too long, so I quick text him back. Maybe. I waited for a few seconds, my heart was thumping so loudly I could hear it. Maybe if I teased him a bit, I wouldn't worry too much about the upcoming dates. Since we have flirted before, it wasn't like this was something new. You kill me, lol. I'm a bit tall, so I'm heading to bed. Good night. Sweet dreams, Sullivan. I dropped my phone on bed. I don't know when, but I think I had got the feelings for the caster. I remember how weird it was at first, and how I felt a bit apprehensive when we first met. Now he was all I could think about. My mundane life stopped being so boring when he came along. I fell asleep with a smile on my face. My dreams were interrupted a few times by consistent tingling sensation in my arms though. The weekend rolled around sooner than I expected. As I was in the shower, I was trying to plot out the perfect outfit in my head. I remember Bella said I should wear something sexy, but did that really fit the vibe of a family-friend festival in the park? A sexy apple picker? I laughed myself as I rinsed the conditioner out of my hair. Besides, it would be super uncomfortable. I felt settled on a nice shirt, jeans and boots. I did put on a hoodie so lent to me when we first started hanging out, although the scent of his cologne was airing off since I had kept it for so long. I rushed down the stairs, quickly checking my hair and makeup for the fourth time in a row. I anxiously waited Sullivan's arrival. I needed to stop being so nervous. Someone is ready for our date today. I glared towards his direction. Before I could say anything, the doorbell shimmered and in walked Sullivan. George? He rushed right over to my dad. Somehow they have gotten to become good friends. Almost every time Saul walked me home, my dad would try to meet us so he could talk soccer with him. Let's go, I don't want to waste any time here when there could be an apple pie eating contest happening right now. I grabbed Saul by his sleeve and drug him towards the front door. We both waved goodbye to my dad, who looked a bit disappointed he couldn't steal Sullivan for me this time. He gave me a cheeky wink on our way out though. Way to make it obvious though, Dad. What kind of dad is this? Let me save. We arrived at perfect time. There was a good turnout for the festival. The park was bustling on a calm, not too overcrowded level. Sullivan still walked close to me though, making sure we didn't get separated. Occasionally, as we had to walk single file through crowds, he would put his hand on my shoulders and walk behind me. So, what would you like to do first? Food, I'm starving. He laughed and then grabbed my hand. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure I smell apple pie coming from this direction, so let's go. I smiled and giggled. I didn't really care about the apple pie at this point. I was admiring Sullivan's enthusiasm more than anything. Once we got our slice of pie, we found a nice spot under a tree to sit together. I looked out and looked over the festival in front of us. There were food stalls, apple bobbing tanks, and a small Ferris wheel. I could also spot an apple orchard in the distance. Off to the farthest section of the park were two paths, one for the pumpkin patch and another that led into the line for the hay rides. Sullivan slid over close to me until our thighs touched. So how much do I need to pay you to go apple bobbing? In that nasty water full of people's spit? I'll pass. They probably don't change the water all day. Yuck. He laughed at me, whining. No matter what you pay me, you'll never catch me sticking my head in that disgusting water. But hey, I would love to check out the pumpkin patch and a ride though. Yeah, you're right. Apple bobbing is kind of old school too. Like before we knew about germs and stuff. I raised my eyebrow at him. Your idea sounds fantastic though. Oh, before I forget, On our way in, I saw a stall where you can make corn husk dolls. Man, I always want to make one of those. You should check it out. It could be such a kids at times. Okay, let's throw our trash away and go make some dolls. Sullivan got up and stretched his legs, then reached his arm out to help me off the grass. He pulled me up effortlessly and grabbed my hand to make our way to the stall. I threw our trash in a can on the way over. Well, hello, are you interested in making a doll? Is it $3? It is $3 per doll, or you can make two dolls for $5. We'll make two, please. Here's a 5. Before I could even open my mouth to object, the tenant was already taking the $5 bill from Sullivan. He handed us our corn husk, a small information flyer with some facts about corn husk dolls and their history, a sheet of paper with direction, and lastly the necessary tools we needed. He then ushered us to some small child-sized tables and chairs across the path. As we sat down to our ridiculous low seats, I laughed to myself at how silly we looked in these tiny chairs. We were definitely the oldest kids around the table. We spent next hour fiddling with corn husk and chatting, although it was sometimes hard to have a quiet conversation with the babbling and occasional screams of young children around us. The more I look at my doll's body, the more it resembles something you'll see out of a horror movie. At least Sullivan looked nice and not butchered to death. And done. He held the doll up for me to see. It's you. He situated dusk to resemble a dress. The eyes were drawn the same color as my own. The hair was mostly just scribbles over the heads. I laughed a little bit. I was embarrassed to show him my doll. I was trying to make him, but it looked like an alien monster instead. I tried to make you too. It didn't come out the way I wanted though. My doll was ugly, gangly, and covered in streaky blue lines. I tried to get the yellow to show up on the head, but it was almost translucent. So I had trouble stifling his laughter. Is that what you think I look like? Hey, I tried. Not everyone is a corn husk artist. I slapped him on the shoulder. He kept laughing but took the doll from my hands. I love it. You can have it. Thank you. Here, I want you to have yours too. I gave him a smile. Well, now we just have dolls of ourselves, but made by each other, which makes them special. He poked my cheek with the doll I made for him. We tucked the dolls into our pockets and got up. Hey, right time? Hey, right time. We wandered through the crowds over the line for the A ride. There were two options, the walking path or the ride to the pumpkin patch. I'm not walking, let's stick to the A ride. Sullivan hummed in agreement. The line wasn't too long, so we were able to get on the next available ride. The seats were A bales lined up against the edge of the wagon. A large tractor was running in the front to pull it along. We took seats up by the front next to each other. I felt a little self-conscious as there were 3 couples and 2 families on with us. Did it look like Sullivan and I were a couple? After everyone was seated, the wagon jerked forward and the ride started. The jerk was pretty abrupt and it knocked me into Sullivan's arm. He lifted his arm and wrapped it around my sides. Easy there, you will fall if you are not careful. Thanks. I held onto him for a second to steady myself. We enjoyed the ride in peace as the wheels rumbled in the dirt. We passed over to fields of different crops. Finally got to the pumpkin patch. Okay, here we are. You got 20 minutes to pick a pumpkin and get your pictures. You can't pay for the pumpkin when we get back. We made our way to the rows of gigantic pumpkins. Alright, I don't know about you, but I'm gonna find the best one here. I want one of those tiny pumpkins. We scoured the patch looking for our perfect pumpkins. I found a small orange pumpkin, but Sullivan insisted on getting a large lumpy green gourd. Let's take a picture with our pumpkins. Okay, sure, hold on. I pulled out my phone and held it in front of us. Hold your pumpkin up. I snapped a nice photo of us smiling and holding up our prized pics. I got to remember to post that to Instagram later. I'm sure everyone going to freak out at it and leave some embarrassing comments. We heard the last call for loading on the wagon, so we went back to take our original seats. Why do you pick out that big ugly thing? The muddy green guard was rocking between Sullivan's feet on the floor. Shh, she can hear you, she's sensitive. He held his hand on either side of the guard. I rolled my eyes and laughed. Do you just have a thing for ugly stuff? Well, you are not ugly, so I don't think so. They both looked surprised at each other. He cleared his throat awkwardly. Well, as long as I'm not compared to that girl of yours, then I guess she can stay. I shall name her Olga. Are you jealous of Olga? Sol gave me a light nudge with this tight. I smirked and jokingly gave Olga a dirty look. That seemed to clear the awkwardness. The air was a little less weird. The wildfire rolled back up to the original pickup point by the stalls. The queue for the ride had almost doubled in size. We paid off our pumpkins as we exited the ride. I insisted on paying, but Sullivan said he got it and wouldn't hear otherwise. Was he going to let me pay for anything today? It was already around 2 p.m. I was feeling hungry again. Can we get some more snacks? You know I'll never say no to snacks. We found a small stall selling an assortment of food. I ordered a pickle from the pickle barrel. Sullivan said on a batch of fried Oreos. Let's eat this, then get on the Ferris wheel. A bit later I gobbled up the rest of my pickle. Sullivan was almost done with his Oreos. I saved the last one for you. He held the delicious treat out towards me. You can have it. It's okay, you can have it. I saw the way you were longingly staring at them the whole time here. I shook my head and put my hands up. No, you deserve it. They are yours. He shrugged and took a bite of half the dessert. Then we will share. He spoke while chewing. He handed the other half of the Oreo to me. I took it and popped it into my mouth. Thank you. We finally got in line for the Ferris wheel. It was a bit longer than the A-ride line, so we took a few pictures of the festival and each other on our phones. After about 10 minutes, we were able to get a seat. We left our pumpkin safely stashed by the fence where the ride attendant stood. The Ferris wheel wasn't a huge one like at theme parks, rather just one of the vintage rickety ones you see at country fairs. The types that bring a huge sense of nostalgia to them. From atop we could see the whole festival and the lines of stalls and activities. This is amazing! You can even see the pumpkin patch from earlier. Sadly Olga won't get to see it. I can't believe they wouldn't let me bring her on. I roll my eyes and laugh at him. Olga, I love you! I started to crack up hysterically and join him in shouting for Olga. Olga, we'll be back soon! I knew we looked like crazy idiots, but I didn't mind. Just the rest of afternoon flew by. This was the most fun I had experienced in an extremely long time. Before I knew it, evening was approaching as the fairy lights began to light up the rows of stalls. Everything looked so beautiful all lit up, especially with the faint sound of a band playing. My phone rang as we were browsing the shopping stalls. Oh, it's my dad. Hold on. I hit the green answer button, but put my phone to my ear. Hey Dad, what's up? Hey honey, I'm sorry to cut your date short, but I need you to come help me in store. There was a bit of an accident with a caster and one of the shelves. Long story short, there is dirt, glass and herbs everywhere. Can you come back to help me clean it up? Yeah, sure, I will see you soon. Thank you, love you, see you in a bit. He hung up. Salve was looking at me a bit confused. Work stuff, is your dad okay? Yeah, just an accident and the display got knocked over. He can't clean it up by himself, so I got that back now. I gave him a frown. I was a little disheartened to cut our lovely day short, but I couldn't say no to my dad. He's been overworking himself recently. I can come help if you like. Besides, I think we've seen enough of the festival today. We did everything we want to do, and I had such a nice time with you here. Sure, come on, let's go. With our pumpkin and gourd in hand, we travel back to Snips. Hi sweetie, thank you so much. Oh, Sovereign, you are here too. Will you mind giving us a hand with this? I don't want Lol hurting her hands. There is a lot of glass on the floor. Of course, George. Shall we handle the glass and let Lol pick up the rest of the mess? We all began to stoop down and sweep up the mess. My dad and Sullivan separate the glass while I sort the roots and dirt out of the way. So, what happened? Potion reacted badly with one of my customers' magicka. They fainted and on the way down pulled the display with them. Jeez, are they okay? Oh, they are totally fine. They just ordered the wrong herbs blend, so technically it was their responsibility. I'm glad it wasn't our fault. That will have a huge effect on shop. We couldn't afford that. It will weigh heavy on my costs too. Sylvan, have you ever had a bad reaction with our magicka? I continued to sleep while sleep while making conversation. Only once. I don't know what was in it, but it was a new concoction to help hide my marks. It was supposed to get rid of them permanently. It knocked me out for like 2 days instead. I felt a little heartbroken, especially remembering our conversation from a few nights ago about these markings. That's scary. I always hated those potions. I'm glad no one needs to alter or hide their appearance now. We should take pride in ourselves and never conceal it. Sylvan and I both nodded in agreement. Since the glass shattered in tiny pieces, the shop wasn't fully clear until it was dark outside. I'm sorry for interrupting your date, guys. I certainly wasn't expecting anything like this to happen today. Everything was pretty quiet and calm until this. We both looked up at my dad in realization. Even my dad was calling it a date. Oh, it's no problem, George. We couldn't leave you in this mess, and it's always a pleasure to see you anyways. Besides, you are my go-to guy to talk sports with. I made a gagging noise. I hate this weird bromance blooming between them. You flatter an old man, Mr. Alatar. By the way, did you see the game last night on TV? Ahem. Whoa, it's late. Sully, your family are probably wondering where you are at. He made a weird face, but then realized what I was implying. Well, I guess that's my cue to leave, George. We'll catch up on soccer next time. Have a good night, sir. Lol, I'll message you soon as I'm home. Yeah, be safe. He left the store and my dad gave me a proud grin. Your boyfriend is such a good guy, lol. He's not my boyfriend, we're just friends. I didn't know friends go out on dates. I glared at him for a second. Come on, let's head upstairs. We should wait until it's light out to do a final check for any piece of glass on the floor that we missed. Plus, I don't want to miss the new episode of Prince of the Mountain tonight. The rest of the night spent dodging my dad's question about how our date went. He kept lightly interrogating me until I went to bed. I appreciate how much he cared, and deep down I was happy and Sylvan liked each other. I fell asleep content after such a good day. I woke up in a strange place. It took me a moment, but I realized it was a very vivid dream. Weird shapes of different colors floated in my visions. My arm felt heavy and numb. I looked down at my hands and saw a glow emanating from my fingertips. I then heard a bodiless voice come from the sky. Hello, Annie. I knew it as soon as I heard her speak. It was my mother's voice. Mom, where am I? What is happening? Awaken. Suddenly everything went black. Chapter 3, Snowbound. The next morning I woke up in a cold sweat and a sense of uneasiness. The numbing sensation emitting from my arms was stronger than ever, as if I were experiencing pins and needles on an extreme level. I knew something wasn't right, so I rolled up my pajama sleeve. Nothing could have prepared me for what I saw. There were tiny streaks of what looked like silverish white veins traveling up my arms. I felt a huge weight of pressure on my body as the panic inside me began to burst. I hurried to the bathroom to the mirror and stripped off all of my clothes. I was dreading what I was about to see. They were everywhere. The markings were streaked across my whole body. They creeped up onto my jawline, down each of my arms, then sporadically branched across my torso in a different directions. They finally ended down on my feet. After a few seconds, it suddenly dawned on me what was going on. I had magic awakening. I frantically threw my clothes back on and barreled down the stairs, screaming for my dad. He looked up from behind the counter, where he was counting the till before we opened it up. He gave me a quick smile before his face changed dramatically and his mouth dropped to the floor. No. He hurried over to me, almost knocking over glass shards on his way, and he cupped my face and stroked my cheeks with his thumbs. Oh lol, this wasn't supposed to happen. This never happens. They say the Vidus rarely ever show any signs of magicka. Oh sweetheart. I was speechless. Tears began to well up in my eyes. Dad, what's happening? He exhaled deep and led me upstairs to our living room to sit on the couch. He sat down next to me in almost hesitant way. I was anxious as to what I was about to hear, but I needed answers as to what the hell was going on. I'm sorry, Arnie. I shouldn't have reacted like that. He continued to sigh, holding his head in his hands, clearly stressed. It's just after what happened to your mom, I want you to be safe, to not have any magic in you. What do you mean? What happened to mom? You say it was a work accident? He sighed, then finally looked at me. Your mom was a healer. You see, the way to heal with magic is complicated. When patients will come to your mom, she will take the disease, injury, pain, or whatever element they showed into her own body, so she could then cast it out and heal the patient. One time a patient came to her who was badly infected after being exiled from extreme curse eaten. Your mother was so dedicated to her job and knew this patient had come to her especially as she was well known and trusted in her skill. She refused to turn the patient away, and eventually things took a dramatic turn for the worse. She could only take out half of the eggs, but the eggs was so powerful it was enough to exhaust her body. We lost both her and the client. Okay. Do you remember mom's markings? They were just like yours. From the look of it, you might have the same specialty. I sat stunned in silence, slowly trying to process everything that was just presented to me. This was the first time Dad had told me what really happened in detail. Okay, so our mother was a healer and she would put all the disease pain into her body, like took out from the client and put in her body. But one client had some X curse or like that, and it was so powerful that she couldn't take all and put it on her body. So both died, our mother and the client, because she took half of that X curse, and they both died because of that. Interesting. And now we have the same magica that our mother had, that was to heal. Don't worry, Dad, I won't get hurt. I can't lose you, lol. I really can't. Please, you have to be careful. Things will change now that the magic is awakened inside you. Because don't forget, we are divided, because we are a daughter of a caster and a human. So dividers wouldn't have magica in their bodies, right? But it appeared it was awakened, that power, and our father wasn't expecting that to happen. We will have to learn how to use it properly. I don't want you or anyone else getting hurt. He composed himself and stood up. He walked over to our large bookshelf and reached for two small leather-bound books on the highest shelf. Your mother wrote notes in this, a beginner's guide to Magica, if you will, for if you ever had to learn anything about it. At first I thought it wasn't necessary, assuming you'll never awaken, but I let her do it anyway. She took such care and detail into writing these journals. Now I'm thankful she did. She drew beautiful illustrations and wrote day and night. He handed the two journals to me. Thank you. He started nodded and sat back down on the couch. I'm going to go to my room to call Arabella and Sullivan. They need to know. After a very frantic group phone call, we agreed to all meet at Sullivan's house. Lol, oh my god, I knew it. He grabbed me by my arms, then slid his hand down to my wrist. He flipped my hands over toward him. What do you mean you knew what? He looked at him with a confused look. Of course, over the past couple of weeks I felt magic aura around her. I thought maybe my magic was welling around her, or maybe she picked up something from Snips, but it felt too powerful yesterday. Why didn't you say anything? I lightly shoveled his shoulders. I wasn't 100% sure. I'm gonna kill him. The rest of the boys walked in front of the door, looking at us with confused looks. We spent the next 10 minutes filling them in. Apparently Sullivan will always sense a bit of magic when around me. That is why he initially came up to me. He thought I was a weak caster with a glamour potion activated. I felt a little annoyed that the reason he ceased talking to me was because he thought I was a caster. Well, we can definitely help you with anything in regards to the arcane. I had them out and out for a while, but his voice pulled me back to the conversation. Yeah, thanks. He gave me a sad look and gently grabbed my hands. Guys, I gotta take Lol to my room. I just want to have a caster-to-caster talk. They all nodded and watched us as we went upstairs to his room. I felt numb. Everything that had happened this morning felt like a blur. It hadn't truly sunk in. I was so used to my boring old life. Then Sol came along. He and his brothers brought excitement to my life, and it was just enough. I couldn't tell if I was ready to take on a new way of living. I just wanted to be human. My eyes began to well up with tears again. Turn away, reach out. Reach out. I reached out to Solomon as we stood alone in his room, drinking a little bit. Hey, it's alright, come here. He pulled me into his chest and hugged me. I felt tears begin to flow. I don't understand, Sullivan. I grew up being told I was human all my life. Now I'm thrown into this. I'm overwhelmed, my head hurts, everything feels like it's spinning. Today has been too much. Shh, it's going to be okay. You are not alone in this. I'm here, so are my brothers. Eric, Arabella, your dad. And I sighed when he mentioned my dad. My dad is afraid. My mom had the same specialty that I do. It got her killed. He kept quiet and stroked my hair. He leaned against his chest until I finally stopped crying. I stepped back and felt embarrassed. I really was just sobbing in Sylvia's arms. He held on one of my hands and interviewed with our fingers. The white and blue of our magical markings glow against each other. I won't let anything happen to you. He gave me a small smile and I returned it. Now with these beautiful white marks, let me guess what your specialty is. Are you some sort of weather element like me, or do you happen to be my little healer? I felt a bit better with him making light of the situation. Healer, I think. That's very good and strong specialty. I felt a bit better about being arcane now. I was a little more confident thanks to Sullivan's encouragement. I swore to myself to make my parents proud of me. You ready to go back downstairs? I nodded and we went back to our friends, hand in hand. The first few days of being cast were strange to say the least. I studied journals I got from my mother, asked my dad any question I could think of, and Sullivan coached me through a lot. The weirdest part was our customers now paid more attention to me. Customers that have shopped at our store for years were now actually trying to have conversations instead of just shopping and leaving. It seemed to be interesting to them that a divide had an awakening. At school it was even harder. All the students looked at me strangely. My professor pulled me aside to talk after the first class I had after my awakening. She was intrigued also, because it's the first time that a divided showed that he can have the awakening power. So that's why everyone is like, whoa, interesting in us. I got slightly irritated being stared at like some circus animal. I was pretty sure it went against the reveal act, there we go. Annabelle was same as usual though, she never made a huge deal about it because she knew it would stress me out. She was a true friend. We were spending an early afternoon together, hanging out on a video chat. Oh, you are glowing a little, have you learned something? I sat cross-legged on my bed with my phone propped up on my nightstand. Okay, let me try this. I still felt weird being able to use magic. For years I never was more comfortable with others using it. Using it myself felt almost sacrilegious. I brought my arm up to my mouth, a bit hard to leave a mark, enough that it hurt. I held my other hand over the mark and concentrated hard. I want to practice using the skill of moving the energy through my body to my hands. I felt a tingling sensation and then removed my hand. The mark was gone. Move over, Houdini, it's my best friend, time to shine. I rolled my eyes. Something isn't right. Maybe I'm not doing it correctly. I'm supposed to feel the pain from the bite as I heal it, but I didn't. Only a slight tingling sensation. I have a feeling it's because I'm trying it myself. Why don't you ask Sylvia then? I bet he'll love for you to bite him. Hey! I sheepishly looked back at my phone. Sullivan had been super helpful in teaching me about the castle lifestyle. I was grateful that I wasn't finding it a problem to control the magic. It came to me rather naturally. Don't deny it. You definitely like him. Obviously I like him. He's my friend. Of course I like him. As a friend. She gave me a skeptical look and raised her eyebrow. Of course I felt something for him, but I wasn't ready to admit that. We are such good friends, I didn't want to ruin that with confusing feelings. What a waste. You could have been like some casted version of Romeo and Juliet. Enough about me. Why don't we talk about how you were at James' house last night? Hey, don't judge me. Yeah, he has the personality of, well, a fish. But those biceps keep coming back. Don't even get me started on what is packing down there. You are disgusting. I watch her shrug through the screen. You gotta tell me what Sol got downstairs. I sense he's on the average size, but hey, it's the motion of the ocean, I guess. Stop! I start to get frustrated. I was at the verge and I had sex before. You gotta say the first. I was at the verge, but talking about Sol like this made my heart race in the worst kind of way. So in there you have choice too, because conversation to be different. I couldn't believe how casual Annabelle could talk about things like this. Getting close with guys was great, but she will always get a bit perverted when we talk about them. She proposed tried to bring Silver up in conversation to make me blush. Anyway, you got the last or Sophie with him later, right? I lay down on my bed, holding my phone above my face. Yeah, you say you want to start giving me more formal lessons instead of general tips. Bet that isn't the only tip you are getting. She snorted at her own obscene comment. I'm going to kill you next time I see you. Her snort became full of laughter. She loved teasing me. Okay, I'll let it go for now, but you can't deny it all you want. Anyway, since we got this nice little group of friends, I was thinking. It's never good when you start thinking, Arabella. She ignored my jab at her. I was thinking we go on a trip all together. Oh, what spurred this on? My dad boss owned a cabin in the mountains. I was asked to house sit for a weekend. His boss said he doesn't mind if I bring friends. A weekend with Annabelle plus all the boys? It could be fun or a complete disaster. I could get down with that, but we have to invite you two? I grow thinking about spending a week with that grumpy bastard. At least he finally stopped accusing me of being a stalker, but he could be such a mood killer with his incessant complaining and sudden outburst of rage. I need some eye candy to look at, lol. I bet he works out daily. I could watch him shirtless jogging down a mountain trail. Besides, you guys are friends now, sort of. As to Arabella, you are falling for this incubus shit, I swear. And friends is a strong word. We tolerate each other. You are so friends. Plus, he doesn't need to use that on me. Anyone can see how hot he is. You just got a thing for good boys. I'm done with this conversation. I got to meet Sullivan soon anyway. I'll text you later. I went to hang up. She made sure to yell before I tapped the red button. Who's protection? We met up in Olive Park. I remember the festival that happened here only a week and a half ago. Things were easier then. I still thought I was human. Some was pulling me from my thoughts. Okay, so of course you know you are a healer, but you are also a caster, and we all share some common basic powers. One of those is sensing magicka. It doesn't happen as natural as most people believe. You need to be able to find it. You find it before it finds you. You then need to figure out what it is, where it is, and decide if it is safe or not. Safe or not? He gave me a sad smile. Yeah. Not all casters have good intention with their elements, and your element doesn't determine the danger of the caster though. A healer can be more dangerous than a death cast depending on the individual. I shuddered at these words. Don't worry, we will start out easy. Come on. He liked to grab my hand and led me over to the bench on the side of the path. We sat close side by side. First, I want you to close your eyes. I'll talk you through it. I shut my eyes and took a deep breath. Here we go. We are going to see if you can sense my magic. You generally should always have a feeling around other casters. Some people learn to ignore it, but as I said, it is a better idea to learn to sense and detect what it is. Okay, so what do I do? Am I supposed to feel it? It should feel like a slight vibration in the air. Since you are new to this, if I touch you, it will make it easier. I felt a small bump against my forehead. This might feel weird, but since our magic system branched from our brains, it will be easy to sense if we touch heads. His breath whispered across my cheek. My face was eating up. This was a bit too close for comfort. I laughed awkwardly. Keep going, let's stop. No, keep going. It was uncomfortable, but I want to learn. I also and I want to show Sullivan that I could be strong cast like him. I let out a soft sigh. Keep searching for that vibration. We kept quiet while I tried to focus. Then I felt a wave flow through me. It was strong cold, but soft in a way. It felt soothing. I think I feel it. Good. As quick as the wave hit me, it vanished. All that remained was a small chill in my spine. I opened my eyes and saw a blushing Sylvan in front of me. Sorry for getting up in your face, but that is all my mom taught me. I smiled and brushed my hair behind my ear. It's okay, I really don't mind. He gave me a strange look. I've seen it a few other times before, as if he had something to say. His eyes studied me for a second. Our final lesson for today is for your specialty. Have you tried practicing on yourself? I shrugged. Yeah, but it just sorta heals without having to pass anything through me. Ah, so you are missing the phantom pain aspect then. Maybe it is because it's your own body? That's what I thought. Try on me. He gave me a big smile. That means you have to get hurt first. No. Oh, relax, you worry word. I have some scraps from soccer. Just try on one of those. He rolled up his sleeves and revealed a big blue bruise on his forearm. I sat and reached out my hand. As soon as I placed my hand on his arm, I felt that familiar cool wave returning from before. Silver gave me a surprised look. I tried to ignore it and began to heal his arm. Slowly, I felt an itch splay over my own forearm. I was doing it. After about 10 seconds, the bruise was completely gone. You did it, lol. I just used magic to heal you. I was elated with my progress. We can now end our class for today. Good job. Let's get Sophie to it. I loved how excited he was for me. My heart swelled with pride. You are really speaking my language now. There's a new bakery in town. We need sweets after long magic workout. I followed behind Salva to the bakery. The bakery was a cozy family-owned shop that opened just a few minutes from the park. It was perfect to visit on a nice fall day like today. I will take the brownie sundae extravaganza, please. I was scrolling away on social media while waiting in line with Sullivan. And for you, miss? Before I could answer, Sullivan intercepted the conversation. Make the brownie sundae a triple. All chocolate ice cream. We'll share. I raised an eyebrow at him. He normally let me order for myself, so this was a bit out of character. After our order was taken at the counter, we were directed to sit at small tables lined against the wall. There were a few other patrons enjoying their desserts. I smiled at the vampire couple who were sharing a slice of strawberry shortcake. So, what is this brownie sundae? He gave me a sheepish look. It is so good you need to try it. I got it last time I was here with Queen. The first thing I thought was, lol, will love this. So I had to jump in before you order a boring chocolate milkshake or cupcake. I'll let it go this one time. You know I take my food seriously. I smiled at him, reassuring him I really didn't mind. Besides, he was paying. Oh yes, never mess with lol and her food. Trust me, I learned the hard way. I know you'll never forgive me for hitting the rest of cheese balls at your house. You still owe me a whole gallon of them. Besides, who hits a whole gallon of cheese balls in one sitting? Your dad said it was fine. We both busted out in giggles. The server interrupted our antics by placing a huge platter of an ice cream and brownie monstrosity. Don't judge it by its appearance, trust me, she's delicious. Don't ever say she is delicious again. You can't deny the truth. Taste. He held his spoon out of my face. Was he expecting to feed me? Eat it, because it's offering, so let's eat. I opened my mouth and tried to ignore the blush I knew was all over my face. He was right, this disaster of a dessert was amazing. There was a bit of chocolate still left on the spoon and he pulled it back. As I went to tell him how good it was, I watched as he put the spoon in his mouth, eating whatever was left over from the spoonful he fed me. The blush on my cheeks was so hot I felt like I was going to burst into flames. I couldn't take my eyes off his lips for a few seconds. So, what do you think? His upbeat voice stopped my embarrassing thoughts. I really got distracted around this guy often. You're right, I like it a lot. He nodded his head and dug in for another spoonful. 30 minutes later, we were tossed back in our seats with a huge chocolate brown ice cream baby in our stomachs. I would have food commerce before, but never on this level. I can't believe we demolished the giant brown ice cream mountain. Oh, before I forget, Annabelle invited us to spend this weekend at some cabin she's house sitting. The owners are cool with us being there. Are you interested? Have I ever said no to hang out with you, lol? Why do you have to word things so weird? So I let her know you'll be there. Invite Queen and Eric too, please? What about you two? Fine. No bad attitude though. Southern laughed. Asking you to not have a bad attitude is like asking for the sky to not be blue. Is it who they are? You are so strange, Sullivan. You know that? You love that about me though, besides my striking good looks and dazzling personality. Yeah, keep telling yourself that. Let's go, it's getting dark. We start to walk back towards my house. Halfway there, Sully slipped his hand into mine. We held hands off the bed, was normally because he was leading me somewhere or trying to not lose me in the crowd. This one felt a little bit intimate. I saw a blush on his cheeks and decided to not say anything. As we passed on an alley, I felt a wave of something fall over me. It felt like I was suffocating. I looked over with panic in my eyes. Sully was squeezing my hand. He looked terrified. The pressure was too much. I felt like I couldn't move. Out of the alley stepped a shadow figure. It looked like a human, but I couldn't make out any features. I lost my child because of her. Now she will lose her child. She failed. I won't let you kill others like her. I'll stop you before you fail. She flicked her hand out. A flurry of neon purple pins of magic shot out direction at my chest. I closed my eyes and braced for the pain about to come. I heard a shatter, but felt nothing. After a few seconds waiting for the pain to come, I realized something was very wrong. When I opened my eyes, I screamed. The figure was gone, but Sullivan was in a crumpled heap on the ground. I saw a small puddle of blood and icicles scattered ahead. I dropped down to Sullivan on the ground, unsure of what to do. Poison! Air element! I began to panic even more. Let's see if my lessons have paid off, Sullivan. Hang on for me. I rip up his shirt, not care about seeing him half naked. I just want to save him. The poison was each spot on his skin. It was ringing in all different directions. It was still small enough for me to conceal. I placed my hands over the purple discoloration. As soon as I felt energy flow to my hands, my chest screamed out in pain. It fluttered up, but it was unbearable. I kept pushing through it. Finally, the pain subsided to numbness, and then nothing. Sullivan lay below me, breathing heavily. It was the last thing I saw before I blacked out. My body had a dull itch everywhere, and my head felt foggy. I slowly opened my eyes and used my hand to shade them. They felt crusty, like I had been out for a while. Not to mention my skin felt dry and itchy. It was bright in my room. The memories of what happened rushed back to me. Anxiety filled my chest as I shut up wide awake. My dad was sitting at the foot of my bed, leafing through a book and fidgeting. Whoa, easy, lol. It's okay, you're safe. Dad! I hugged him tightly. Hold on, someone will want to see you. Sullivan, she's awake. A very upset looking Sullivan came in through my door. Oh god, lol. I'm glad you are up. I'll have to text the others to let them know. I look at them both confused. How long I've been out? Are you okay, Sullivan? I reached out and gently touched his arm. He gave me a sad smile while placing his hand over mine. Thanks to you, I'm fine. And now that you are awake, I'm better than ever. I blushed at his words. He was very bold to talk like that in front of my dad. Hold on, Arabella is calling. Let me update her. He walked out of the room. He was so worried about you, he wouldn't leave your side. I let him stay the night on the couch in the living room. He wanted to be as close as possible when we woke up. Of course, I wasn't going to let him stay in here though. I laughed and poked my dad. Apparently Sullivan carried me back to the store. He filled my dad in on everything and they called the police. There was no evidence of the crime when they went to where we were attacked. Sullivan quickly came back in. Everyone was sorry about you, even Mewtwo was upset. I felt bad for worrying everyone. My dad didn't say anything, but I could tell this was exactly what he was worrying about. Well, I'm fine now, just a little sore. Yuck, I feel so gross and smelly. I'm in desperate need of a nice long shower. I must have been sweating in my sleep. They both lightly laughed. Well, I guess I'll just have to tell everyone that they will have to wait to see you until tomorrow. Oh yeah, the trip. I felt a bit better thinking about spending some time with my friends. Yeah, I'll be ready to rock and roll tomorrow. Today I think I just want to rest. Sylvia, you might want to consider resting too. You were attacked initially. He shook his head. No, I'm okay. I do have to get home though. My mom are a bit upset and didn't go home last night. They were freaking out about the whole situation, even though I was fully ill by LOL. I was sad to see him go. I feel a bit more relaxed with Sylvia around. I still couldn't fully process someone wanted me to die, and he almost paid the price. It was important he went home to his family though. I'll be okay. I'm just going to nap the rest of the day. You go get some rest too. He looked a bit sad, but finally agreed. We said our goodbyes and it was just my dad and I alone. The woman attacked us. She said something about mom. He sat back on my bed and gave me the saddest look I ever seen. I think I know who attacked you guys. The police are out searching for her. I looked at him expecting an answer. Remember when I told you your mother passed away trying to save a client? I nodded my head. My stomach dropped when I realized where this was going. The client was a caster's child. His parents collected and sold cursed items. It's actually a popular practice and normally not too dangerous. The child got into a box that when opened would place a deadly X on the intruder. His mother was a friend of ours and brought him to us as soon as it happened. Your mother never gave up on saving him, but it wasn't enough. Tears began to fall from his eyes. I felt my heart break watching my father cry. His mother blamed us for his death. She never took legal action or anything, but she never forgave your mom or I. I think the years of mourning her child has driven her mad. She said something about stopping me before I fail others. I guess she learned you had your awakening. Your markings look just like your mother, so she took it upon herself to get some sort of revenge. She will be detained soon. Until they locate her, I need to be safe. I won't let that bitch hurt me or my friends again. Hunger bubbled up in my stomach. I couldn't believe this woman attacked me, hurt Sullivan, and had so much malice towards my parents. How dare she blame my mother? It will be okay. Get some more rest. I'm gonna grab a quick shower first. I'll be in the living room if you need anything. Thanks, Dad. I undressed and stared at my naked body in the mirror. These markings made me a target yesterday. I felt like I should be angry or scared, but I was actually proud of them. They made me feel more connected to my mom. This was the first real time I felt proud of who I truly was. My mom was not a failure. She sacrificed herself for someone else. I always look up to my mother, but now I realize how much she truly inspired me. I took a quick shower. It felt liberating and refreshing. I put on some clean pajamas and crawled back into bed. I shot a quick group text out to everyone, letting them know I was feeling better and I was looking forward to seeing them out tomorrow. Chapter 4, A Winter Wish. Let me save. I woke up early Friday morning. All the sleeping from the night before really made me feel fresh and energized. I felt like I fully recovered from the incident. My phone was shimming non-stop with messages from the group chat of Arabella, the boys and I. I stopped packing to see what the problem was. 2 cars. Your mom van is big enough for all of us. I don't want to deal with you. Excuse me, but lots of men would love to deal with this. Is there a lake at the mountain? Guys, please stop arguing. Also, what time are we meeting? Eric said you'll ride on the roof rack if it's to pack in the van. Queen, if there's a lake at the mountain, I'll drown you two in it. You'll be doing me a favor. You two, have you seen my boots? No. I love at the chaos going on. Of course, don't plan out the details. That was normally my job. To help quell the oncoming disaster, I shot the text into cataclysm of words on screen. Meet at Sullivan's at 10. You two, we will be taking one van. Everyone will be provide gas money. Queen, I suggest looking at the motor up online, but I believe there is a lake there. Eric, please ride inside the vehicle. And Arabella, there will be no murder on this trip. I tossed my phone off to the side and finished packing my things. I spent next hour catching up on some homework for my class, then made my way over to Sullivan's. U2 was outside loading bags into the back of the van. One car? Yep, also I'm glad you are not that stupid. I rolled my eyes. I guess this was U2's way of showing his concern. Yeah, thanks, me too. Surprising, he gave me a smile. This might have been the first time I have seen it. He finished loading the cargo and slammed the trunk shut. I waited for him and walked inside together. Hey lol, catch! A soccer ball came hurtling my way and hit me in the stomach before falling to the floor. Oof! Sylvan rushed over with a worried look on his face. I'm sorry, I thought you had better reflex. You two huffed and walked to the kitchen. Sylvan picked the ball and we turned to look up the stairs at Queen trying to carry a large bag down. Queen, heads up! I was impressed to see Queen quickly flip the bag to the side and catch the ball with one hand. See, well, you need to get some vampire reflex. Queen blushed and pushed the ball back into Sylvan's hands as he passed us to go outside. Hey lol, I'm happy to see you are feeling better. He greeted me as he slid by. I heard the car door slam outside and there was Arabelle being dropped off by her father. She waved at Queen, we made eye contact and she rushed straight inside up to me. Lol, you idiot, come here. She pulled me into a tight hug. Hey Bella, I'm fine, but I can't breathe if you squeeze me too tightly. I wheezed and she finally let go. If you scare me like this, I will kill you myself. I snorted at her. Better you do it than that crazy lady. We were told by a family sing-songy voice that I hadn't heard in a bit. Well, look at what the cat dragged in. Eric strode through the wall and came up to me. He began to peer closely at my face. Were you trying to steal my thunder? I'm the dead one here. I laughed. I miss you, Eric. He stepped back. I'm glad to see you are okay, lol. You two pushed through the group of us. If everyone is here, let's go. The vampire will suffocate if we leave him in the van for too long. We all looked outside and saw an eager Queen sitting quietly in the van. It's like leaving a dog in a car with the windows up. I feel bad. Let's go before someone calls Child Protective Service on us. The ride to the mod was going to be about 2 hours long. Youth and Queen sat up in front, Arabelle and Eric took up the captain's seats in the center. Sylvan and I were comfortably in the third row seats with everyone's blankets and pillows full around us. It took only 10 minutes before everyone began to argue over the music selection. I'm the driver, so I get to pick the music. I'm not in the mood to listen to music that sounds like birds screeching and nails on a chalkboard. I asked Queen to bring a couple of my ska CDs, so if you guys... Everyone shout no in unison at the ghosts. I like Eric's CDs, or maybe can we listen to Blanc 291? Their new album is pretty good. No Blanc unless it's their early stuff. I started to turn out the argument. Eventually a generic radio station that played anything from the last 3 decades was decided on. I ended up falling asleep on the car ride and was awakened by the sound of everyone shuffling to get out of the van. Let's go, sleepyhead, we are here. Sylvan leaned over and ruffled my hair. I pushed his hand away and we clambered out. Wow, what the hell is this? The crisp mountain air felt great on my warm skin. I stretched before walking to the back of the vehicle and grabbed my bag from the trunk. We all waited behind Arabelle as she used the key to open the door to the cabin. It's huge inside. Eric had already faced through the cabin wall to our right. Please wait to go inside like the rest of us. Arabelle pushed the door open and we all filled in. Eric re-entered the cabin through the wall. It is bigger inside than it looks. Well, it's only a 2-bedroom, but there are 4 beds. I feel girls get 1 room and boys can take the other bedroom. Someone will have to sleep on the couch too if no one wants to share a bed. That works for me. I can take the couch. Queen, you guys can share the other bedroom. I was surprised that Youth and Queen agreed. They never really interacted much, and if they did, they normally were arguing. We all put our belongings in our respective rooms and then gathered in the living room. I'm going to go for a walk. I'll be back later. Youth saw out of the cabin, inserting his earphones into his ear, where the delightful sounds of what could only be described as screaming cats started blaring. So there isn't much to do around here. There are trails, that's about it. She looked at Queen. And yes, one leads to the lake or something. I saw a sign for it on the way up to the mountain. I watched him perk up, he was such a cute kid. And for you two, the owners of Netflix account, so have fun. She gave me a sort of a flirty look. I glared back at her as hard as I could. Sullivan was blushing next to me. Well, since it's so nice out and we are on mountain, I would like to go for a hike, I think. Netflix can wait until later when we are all home. I squinted my eyes at her and walked to our bedroom to get my hiking boots. When I returned, Sullivan was tying on his boots. Mind if I join your hike? The more the merrier, I guess. We said goodbye to Arabella, Quinn, and Eric. They were going to have a snack, then head to the lake Quinn was dying to see. We started trekked through the forest for a bit until we entered a slight clearing with a bridge. It's beautiful up here, so looked at me and nodded. Beautiful, definitely. Turned to look at him, take a picture of the scenery. I pulled out of my phone to take a picture of the scenery in front of us. After I looked over the photo, I shoved my phone back into my pocket. As I pulled my hand out, Sullivan reached out and took it. He intertwined our fingers and didn't say anything. We stood there, side by side, holding hands, just enjoying each other's company. Our magical marks glowed together as our skin touched. Small waves of magic fell softly over my body. I wondered what my magic felt like to him. Suddenly there was a loud crashing noise. Arabella, Quinn, and Eric appeared on the path behind us. Arabella was covered in dirt and looking very angry. Sullivan quickly stepped away from me. The space felt empty. He was looking off to the side, blushing. Hey guys! Quinn and Eric were stifling giggles as Arabella marched up to me. I hate that stupid poltergeister. Eric put his hand over his chest and looked offended. I'm offended. I'm not a poltergeist. I'm the friendliest ghost you will ever meet. She huffed at him. What happened? He and his little vampire mirror thought it would be funny to play a prank on me. They set out some rocks on the path so I couldn't see them. I tripped and fell in a bush. I started to snicker. It was kind of funny to see Quinn blush in embarrassment. Eric didn't look remorseful at all. Guys, no more pranks. You got that, Eric? I raised my eyebrows at him and he just smiled. Of course, boss. Sullivan was still lost in thought next to me until I tugged at his sleeve. Let's head back. I woke up on appetite. I just silently nodded. We all returned back to the cabin together. Youth was in the kitchen pulling out plates and filling them each with portions of chicken, mac and cheese, and assorted vegetables. Sullivan returned to his normal self by the time we got back. Yes, Chef Youth has decided to make an appearance. I looked at him quizzically. Chef Youth? Yeah, he's a really great cook. Also, he can really make some delicious chicken considering he's a vegetarian. I thought Big Tough Youth was a vegetarian. It didn't really seem to fit in with his all angry badass persona. I'll see about that. We all walked over to get our servings, then sat around the living room. Whoa, Youth, this is delicious. He nodded. I know. He began to laugh. I began to laugh. I didn't know why, but his smugness was kind of funny at times. He looked over at me and to my surprise actually smiled. We ate our meal and talked about the area, what the plans were for the rest of the day and the agenda for tomorrow. Arabelle suggested we spend the rest of the afternoon playing games. Then when the evening came around we could break out the alcohol and sit by the fire pit outside. No one opposed the idea. We finished up our food then began to debate on which game to play. Arabella and I stood in the foyer of the cabin. She looked through the closet and finally pulled out an assortment of board games. She laid out several boxes on the ground in front of us. Twisted? I looked at her, not surprised that she wanted to do something weird and play a game where we get up close and personal with each other. Quinn overheard us from the living room and made eye contact with me. He shook his head no. I'm not a fan. You are all party poppers. Here, how about this? I pulled a box over to me and read the directions. It was a game where you designate who in the playing group was most likely to do, say, or be something. There is one judge who listens to everyone's vote, and if it makes sense, then they get a point. It was just a game to call each other out. With this group of misfits, it will definitely get interesting. That could be fun. Everyone else agreed and we got set up on the floor in a circle to play. Sullivan was voted to be our first judge. We pull out the first card and it said that money is safe. Only two. You never know. Who will be the first one to die in a scary movie? I love mulling over in the group who will be the first to die in a scary movie. I was not Eric, who was spotting in the corner. I decided... no, because Queen is a vampire, so I'm gonna say Arabella. It just made me most sense. She fell for a dumb prank earlier today. She also wasn't nearly as strong or as fast as any of the boys. After about 30 seconds, everyone in their car's ready. So the first play in our move will be, let's see. I look around the group and saw almost everyone at Arabella down except for you two. Even she knew she would be the first to go, which was a bit funny. So LOL, Eric, Queen, and I say Arabella, you two. Why do you put LOL? I mean, she doesn't seem like the type to survive a scary movie. She'll probably try to run or hide. The only thing I will ever run and hide from is your stupid face. He laughed, used to my insults. In the end, Sullivan dictated Arabella was the best choice. Everyone who wrote her name down marked a point. After a few more questions, we all began to stop caring about the points and just enjoy ourselves. Some questions had unanimous answer. One card asked who took their food the most seriously. Everyone voted for me, even I did. It's pretty dark outside. You guys down for one more round, then we go relax around the fire with drinks? No one objected, so the last card was drawn. On the cards it said, who is most likely to embarrass themselves in front of their crush? I felt my stomach flutter a bit. I hope Arabella kept her big mouth shut. Arabella. When I thought about my crush, the only person that came to my mind was Sullivan. I realized that moment I really did have feelings for him. I probably can put down Arabella's name. Everyone else had Sullivan or my name down on their card. I cleared my throat and tried to not blush. Yeah, well, that's fair, I guess. He looked adorable the way he was blushing. The feelings I had for him felt even more intense. He looked up at me, and when I made my eye contact, I felt short waves of his magic fall over me. This was the first time I could sense his magic without touching him. Let's just go with me. I think I will be the one to embarrass myself. Quietly, under his breath, I hear him say, I think I just did. Stupid card. We began to pack up the game. Youth went to the fridge and fished out a 12-pack of beer that he brought up with us. After a few minutes, we were outside and sat around the fire. Do I drink? No. Everyone had a beer in hand, except for me and Queen. I was not into drinking, and Queen was underage. We just had the cups of soda. We were all laughing and enjoying ourselves. The log I sat on was a bit raw, feeling through my jeans, which kept irritating me. I had to fidget around every few minutes to be comfortable. You okay? You keep moving around. Sal was sitting next to me, sipping his beer. Yeah, this log is just scratching me through my pants. Here, you can sit on my lap if you want. I look at him shocked, but then remember the intimate moment we had while hiking earlier, before Arabella interrupted. Don't sit in his lap. Don't sit. That's kinda stupid. I felt too embarrassed to sit on his lap so openly. Because why you will sit on his lap? Like, come on. No thanks, I can deal with roughness. Suit yourself. We spent the rest of the night relaxing around the fire. Everyone had a good time, and eventually my butt went numb from the log. Sullivan seemed to be a bit sad. I chose not to sit on his lap. I just felt weird being so close in front of everyone though. We all went inside to go to bed. I was still wide awake, so I opted to watch TV for a bit. Sullivan, of course, joined me. He was one of my closest friends, if not my best friend, beside Arabella, so his company was more than welcome. After the rest of our group went to bed, Sullivan scooted closer to me on the couch and placed his arm around my shoulders. Immediately my heart began to race. Lol, I like you. I felt my heart was going to burst out of my chest. I looked over at him. He was blushing and looked at me for an answer. I didn't know what to say. Let's say I like you too. I like you too, Sullivan. His smile looked relieved. He looked so adorable, I couldn't take it. Look at our marks. Okay. I leaned forward and kissed him. He was surprised at first, but immediately began to kiss me back. It felt like a floodgate of pent-up emotions came rushing out. His cool magic was running down every part of my body. I leaned back on the couch to lay down and pulled him with me. He broke apart to breathe for a moment, and then his lips crashed back onto mine. He gently bit my bottom lip, asking for answers. I obligated and opened my mouth, his tongue gently slid against mine. This was getting neat very quick. I gently pushed him back after we continued making out for a bit. I look at him in his eyes and say, I want so we can take it further or stop here. Stop here because it's our first date. I gave him a quick kiss and sat up. We should go to bed. Yeah. He pulled me back over to him for another kiss. Sleep here with me. I smiled at him. Let me go get changed. I'll be right back. I left for a moment and snuck into the bedroom I was supposed to be sleeping to grab some pajamas. After quick getting changed into a tank top and a pair of shorts, I wandered back into the living room. My eyes got wide when I saw Sol preparing the couch to sleep on. He was just in his boxers. I tried to act cool but couldn't look away from his toned body. His markings were running up and down his sides just like how mine were. Welcome back, come on, I'm beat. He flopped onto the couch and patted the side next to him. I quietly lay down next to him, he wrapped his arms around my waist, and we fell asleep only a few moments later. We woke up next morning to the sound of Arabella and Eric near us. I was wondering where she was when I got up this morning. I kept my eyes shut, not ready to face the embarrassment of seeing everyone. My head was resting on Sullivan's bare chest. Of course, Sullivan had to wake up right after me. He sat up, pulling me along with him. Hey guys! He rubbed the sleep out of his eyes. I tried to duck lower under the blanket. I should have thought about what the morning would have been like. Hey lover boy, we are going to the lake today. Get some clothes on, you two. Sullivan got up in just his boxer. Arabelle looked at him, then to me. She gave me a thumbs up. I was ready to crawl in the hole and die there. I was glad no one said anything to embarrassment. We both got ready after being harassed by Arabella for 5 minutes straight. I felt a bit groggy from staying up so late with Sullivan. After trying to get ready as fast as we can, we began our trek to the lake again. Quinn was super excited. I want to see if a rare species of fish are found here. I was looking up online and apparently they can be found in this region and during this time of the year. I smiled at him. He was like a kid brother to me, and seeing him so happy started to make me feel excited to see these fish. The lake was sparkling in the sun. I wished we brought some food and blankets for a picnic. This was a good opportunity to take a picture with everyone though. Hey guys, let's take a picture together. No. Shut up, yes, now get together. I set my front camera on a timer and propped it up on a tree. We all lined up in front of the lake and positioned ourselves. Sullivan wrapped his arms around my waist and stood behind me. Arabelle made a kissy face while giving a shy Queen bunny ears. You two stood apart from us looking miserable. I laughed when I realized Eric was floating above our heads, laying on his sides. The rest of the time at the lake was spent looking for the fish Queen was so excited to see. Oh, they could show the picture at the same time, like we took a picture, they could show it. It's kinda a shame, but oh well. I would love to see the picture. We eventually caught a glimpse of it swimming by, which was enough to make Queen happy. Saturday went rather quickly and it was already time to head home. The next day was Monday and we had class to attend, besides Eric. He claimed his ghost activities were just as important as our class though. Let's go everybody, I got shit to do. Yuto was holding us from the driver's side window. Yeah, we are coming. I threw the last of our bags into the trunk, then climbed into the van. We all situated in the same seats as before. This week was exciting. I really took my mind off the incident from before. I felt a bit sad thinking we had to return back to our daily lives. I also panicked a bit. Everything that happened with Saul the last 2 days felt like a dream. What was going to happen between us once we got home? I felt Saul's hand rest on my knee. I looked over at him a bit confused. You look worried, everything's going to be fine. He flashed me one of his big smiles, and I felt a little bit more relaxed. Chapter 5, The Blizzard. Okay, the Blizzard, why? Like, the names of the titles are kinda like weird because we are like, huh? We arrived back at Sullivan's house in the early evening. Everyone was fatigued from the journey home since we hit some traffic once we got back to town. Arabelle was the first to head out. Once the rest of us had said goodbye to her, Quinn, Yuto and Eric trudged upstairs to put their belongings away. Sylvan and I remained outside the front door. Let's head to your house. I don't want you walking home alone, especially with that woman on the loose. I nodded, and we made our way to the street. Maybe he's gonna use his power like showing his power, that's why they call the blizzards? Can be, right? As we walked down the street, my thoughts kept racing. Part of me was scared that any second that bitch who attacked us will appear again. The other part of me was nervous to be alone with Sullivan again for the first time since that night in the mountains. I thought I appreciate how intimate that night was. I hoped we will have more. I didn't want it to be a one-night thing. He was looking at me quite as I lost in my thoughts. He suddenly stopped and tugged me back hard. I gasped as he positioned me behind his back. In front of us was the woman from before. Move, Caster. Don't protect that pathetic wench. She will fail anyone she uses her cursed magic on. She's just like murdering her of mother. I felt anger roll up inside of me. Don't you dare talk about my mother like that, you psycho bitch! I screamed, trying to fight back my tears as Sullivan held me back from lunging at her. Call the police, lol. I'll take care of this. He pushed me away and looked over to a nearby house I could hide around. I rushed over to hide behind the wall and called for the police. The sounds of spell clashing was deafening. The walls of the neighboring house were lighting up in calls from the sparks. The woman was letting out ear-piercing shrieks that sent shivers down my spine. Silver was scrolling back at her whilst casting his own spells. Head room emergency? How can I be of assistance? Police, please! Okay, where is your location, miss? There's an out of control caster trying to kill me. She's very dangerous. Please hurry. 146 Windsor Street. Alright, we are sending out patrol cars to your location. Please stay back from the caster and stay on the line. The operator on the line did his best to reassure me and calm me down. I was thankful that Sullivan was still keeping her away from me. After what felt like hours, the distant sound of police sirens around the block felt like a miracle. I peered around the wall to see 6 patrol cars from both directions stop in the middle of the road. They surround Sullivan and the woman. Oh, but we don't see you using his power because the game doesn't have a lot of CGs because it's one per LE. I don't know what they want to mean that because each LE, I mean, is different routes. They want to say there's 2 different endings, and each LE that's per LE there is 1 CG. That I think that was that case only. It's a shame because he's ice and it says blizzard. I would love to see him using his power, but well. I could see Sullivan visibly worn out and panting, but luckily still in one piece. He looked back at me where I was hiding behind the wall and gave me a reassuring smile. The woman screamed out in pain as the officers subdued her. 2 of the officers looked of higher rank were both casters. One of the officers pointed her finger towards the attacker and flickered her wrists up. All of a sudden, gigantic plant roots sprout from under the concrete and twist and contorted around my attacker's body until she was unable to move. The other officer walked over to Sullivan and gave him a hug. I was confused, but walked out to the scene. Sullivan? He broke away from the officer, then looked at me. I guess I forgot to mention it, but both of my moms are detectives on the police force, which is why they are never around when you are at our house. They've been leading the investigation on this case. They have been working non-stop this weekend. I noticed one of the female officers was approaching us. I assumed this was one of Sullivan's moms. Nice to meet you. My name is Jess and this is my wife, Regan. She called out her wife's name and gestured to her to come over to us. It was the same lady who wrapped the psycho in the roots and branch. Well, look at Marx, it's different. See? I presume this lol. We have heard a lot about you from our boys, especially from Sullivan. He couldn't stop talking about his pretty friend and her recent awakening. I raised my eyebrow and looked at Sullivan. Pretty friend? He looked away sheepishly. Well, you won't have to worry about her for a long time. I'm sorry you 3 kids had to deal with any of this. I can drive lol home. So you head back home. She'll be in good hands. We gave each other a quick hug and said goodbye. We walked back towards his house. Sullivan's mother, who insisted I call her Regan, drove me back home. It was protocol for her to come inside and explain the incident to my dad, as we may have to testify in court one day. Once the situation was addressed, my dad seemed more visibly relaxed. Thank you so much, Detective Alatar. Hey, our kids are close. Just call me Regan. Okay, but now we know that the moms of Sullivan were the police. Okay, that's why you never saw them in the home. Okay, now we know all that. Well then, Regan, thank you and your wife for saving my girl again. I don't know how to thank you enough. Don't worry about it. Anyone who is important to our sons is important to us too. Then stay a little longer and chat about different topics with my dad. I was feeling myself get more and more tired. It doesn't seem real that just this morning I was waking up in an idyllic mountain scene with all of my friends. I thank Greg again and wish her a good night. I lay in bed. It struck me that Sylvia and I never video called before, and I could have done with some company. It went for a bit. I assumed he had gone to sleep since we were so worn out from the incident, but eventually he answered. He was lying in bed shirtless. It was dim in his bedroom, but I could still see him clear enough. Lol, every okay? Yeah, I just want to say hi or something. He quite giggled. I was already beginning to feel more relaxed. Or something? Fine, I just want your company. Well, I could have gone back to your house. No, your moms want you home, and you should rest your body. You went through a lot. This is nice though, we never been chatted before. It feels like you are right here. Huh, I guess we haven't. Proves how much time we spent together, because we never needed to. We spent the next hour talking, but slowly the conversation died down as we both got tired. We went to hang out, but first I want to say goodbye. I think I gotta sleep now. Thank you for staying up with me, Sullivan. He perked up and looked a bit sad. I was expecting him to just say goodnight, but instead he thought for a second. Actually, can we stay like this? We don't have to hang up. Okay, he saved us all, let's say. I blush, you want to stay on a video call together. Yeah, of course. He closed his eyes and smiled, looking relaxed again. In a few short moments, we were both asleep. Next morning I woke up and I was a bit confused that my phone was on. My memories of the night before came rushing back, and I felt happy he was still on the call. I noticed he had his phone propped up so I could see his old beds. I felt a bit creepy, but hey, this is the one who set his phone up and stayed on the call with me, so I watched him sleep for a bit. He was facing away from the camera, so I could see all was the back of him. After a few minutes he rolled over in his sleep to lay on his back. I smiled at how cute he was, until my eyes landed on his hips where the blanket was pushed up into a tent. Oh my god, I really felt like a pervert now. This was like some kind of voyeurism. I wanted to hang up at that moment, but I feel like he'll be sad if I wasn't there when he got up. I tried to look away from my phone, but now how can you not look at something like when it's right in front of your face? He finally rolled over on his side, facing the camera. I was bored of trying not to look at his obvious blur and waiting for him to wake up, so I shouted at the camera. Sullivan, get up already! His eyes shot open and he looked confused until he saw his phone. Well, good morning to you too. We have class today. I'm going to be late waiting for you to wake up. He laughed, then sat up. I think he realized his issue happening because his face went really red. Gotta go, lol. I'll meet you at our usual place. He sounded frantic. He went to hang up, but after that, what just happened, I thought maybe to leave him be. I didn't want to embarrass him, so I decided to pretend I never saw. I'll see you then. I hung up after we waved to each other. I got to take a quick shower before I had to head to class. School was the same as always. It was a bit weird being back after all the drama that happened over the week. I decided to just enjoy normalcy and relax. Late after my class, I went to meet Sylvie in the library. I got there a bit early than usual, but I saw Quinn reading by himself, so I went over to keep him company. Hey Quinn, what's up? He looked up from his book and gave me a smile. Hello, you are waiting for Solitude? I nodded. I was happy that Quinn will be walking home with us today. I love having him around ever since we became good friends. He was actually quite funny, although his innocent persona will make you think otherwise. I sat down across for him and glanced at his book. What are you reading? It's about deep sea creatures. Right now I'm reading an excerpt on blobfish. Who names a fish blobfish? That sounds like a fake name. No, really, look. He pushed the book in front of me and pointed at a picture of what looked like a big pink blob with a face. It is actually kind of cute. He looked happy at my response. I think so too, but many people say they are ugliest fish. Many people are wrong then. We lifted through the rest of the book together until the library doors slowly swung open. There was so sweaty because he ran from soccer practice to the library. He didn't even get changed this time. Come on, before he gets kicked out for the story with the library piece. Queen and I got up to go meet Sullivan. Good, you both here. I'm starving. I want to shower first before we eat all. Sounds good to me. I can't wait a bit longer for food. We walked out to the library together. The sun was bright and made me feel warm. My chest was fluttering. As we strolled down the street, Queen and Sullivan were chatting about some chores they have to do tomorrow. I let my mind wander, since to be quite honest. I wasn't too interested in listening to them argue over who is going to mop the kitchen floor. I sighed aloud. I was anxious to think about what relationship Sullivan and I had. I felt like an idiot, pining for him. We arrived at their house, and as I usually realized in the living room, Sullivan went upstairs to shop. After 45 minutes, I started to get restless. Is he done yet? I'm starving. Quinn was playing his video games, barely paying attention to me talking. I don't. Go check on him. Maybe he fell in the shower or something. We would have heard that if he did. We can't just eat without him. I feel weird cooking in someone else's house. And not to be mean, but you can't cook for shit, Quinn, and you two isn't here. Fair enough. I'm just gonna check on him. I got up and went upstairs to where Sullivan's bedroom was. I knocked the light on the door. There was no noise coming from inside. Sullivan, are you done getting ready? There was no response. I sat and knocked louder. Still no response. Screw it, I'm coming in. I regret my decision as soon as I opened the door. I saw Sullivan sit on his bed with his back towards the door. He had his phone in hand and headphones on. I guess that's why he didn't hear me knock. It took me a minute to realize what was going on. He was slowly moving his arm up and down. He must have sensed I was there because his head flipped around almost instantly. As the door shut, a blush creeping over my face. I can't believe I caught him doing that. I went back downstairs, ready for the awkwardness to ensue later. When we finally came downstairs, we both looked at each other and blushed. I think we had an unspoken agreement to just pretend none of that just happened. A while later, I found out my food in front of me. I felt a bit embarrassed being with Sullivan and Quinn after what happened earlier. Luckily, after a few minutes, we both returned back to our normal selves. I spent a few hours hanging out with two boys. After a while, I began to feel tired, so I grabbed my things and got ready to leave. I waited to offer to walk me home. My heart was racing thinking about it. I was planning on asking him to be my boyfriend officially once we got to Snips. Hey, sorry, can you walk me home? Of course, lol. You never have to ask me. I will never let one of my friends walk home alone. My stomach dropped once I realized he called me his friend. It was weird to think who would be so intimate with someone and then just call them their friends. We walked out the door together. I noticed he didn't hold my hand like a normal would try to. He looked deep in thought, so I decided to try and make light conversation. Do you want to study for this test later this week? He looked at me with a blank expression. Yeah, sure. After that exchange, I decided to give you holding a conversation. What was up with him tonight? I noticed he was acting a bit strange ever since this morning. We finally arrived at Snips. I was glad for once to be able to be there. Normally, I dread partying with Sullivan. Tonight just felt weird and I didn't like it. My original plan to confess to him felt like a horrible idea now. He stepped inside. Luckily, my dad was nowhere to be seen. Well, good night then. I went to walk away and he reached out and grabbed my hand. I had a quick flashback to all the other times we have held hands. This time felt nothing like those. Wait, I need to talk to you about Sophie. I felt my stomach both drop and my heart flood. Was he about to confess to me? Yeah? I only managed to choke out one word. I really have enjoyed getting to know you, lol. You are the coolest girl I ever met. I know we have shared a lot of intimate moments, but I feel like if we continue to do this, he pointed between himself and I. I just don't want to ruin our friendship. I think it would be best to maybe just it trailed off. I felt crushed. I thought you said you liked me. You look at me surprised. I really do. I like you more than you'll ever know, but I realize I value our friendship more. I hope you understand. I look at him dumbfounded. What? Why? I felt tears well up in my eyes. I like you, but I like our friendship too much to risk anything. You have become such an important person to me. I can't take any chance at anything going wrong. I sighed, then nodded my head. I managed to keep my tears back. I understand, you are important to me too. Hell, you are my best friend. He smiled down at me, then gave me a hug. This one wasn't traumatic like our others, it was comforting. I felt a bit better. Things may not have gone the way I was expected, but I was glad I could still be close with him. He left after that, but promised to text me when he got home. I got it mad that night. I felt like my heart was broken, but I was still happy that someone wanted to be best friends still. I messaged Arabella what happened. She was not too happy, but comforted me. Sometimes things just don't work out. Sullivan is a great guy, though. I think these are for the best. You're right, thanks. Gonna sleep now. As I went to put my phone away, I got a message, but this time not from Arabella. I'm sorry if I hurt you at all. You are my best friend and that will never change. I truly adore you. I hope you understand. Good night. I smiled down at my phone. He was worried about me. It's okay, I'm glad you told me now, though. I almost confessed to you, we are both idiots. We can be idiots together then. I laughed and set my phone on nightstand. For a second I felt that familiar cold wave rush through my body. I never seen Sullivan from so far away, but our connection was stronger than ever before. I smiled and fell asleep. Ending 2, a frosted friendship. So I got the second ending. Very for play, because each, like they say, Li, I don't know what that means, but like they say that, right? Li, it has 2 endings. This was the second ending from like we fell in love with Sullivan, but Sullivan didn't want to be in a relationship with us because he gave more important to our friendship instead of having a relationship. Like, maybe to be different with Sullivan, to have a relationship with him, we needed to do something else. Maybe, who knows? Maybe instead of letting the phone on, we couldn't. Who knows? But like, the story is good, but it's a shame that only has one CG, like they say in the Steam page, that for each Li, I think what they mean is from each route that you choose, you're gonna only have 2 endings. That is a good ending, and then the other is not like bad ending, but it's not the best ending for you, because in there we only become friends and not in a relationship with Sullivan. And per route, because I did with Sullivan only has like they say there is 4 allies, but that is showing that is with Sullivan, right? Queen, Eric, and maybe you two, I think, or is with Arabella, I don't know, but I think it's with the 4 guys that you can have, and each one, 4 allies have 2 endings, and per ally you only have 1 CG, that is that artwork that is very good, of course. But the story is good because you understand, they explain very well like the town that you live, right? They explain that after our mother died, there was that reveal act that those people that are called arcane, they can now walk safely in the streets. Before that act they couldn't, they had to hide, they had to take potions to hide the marks. And then that reveal act made every arcane, like they say, arcane people walk on the street, didn't need to hide the marks. And then they explained that why we are who we were, we are the son of a normal human and someone that had those magical marks, and we are called divided. And divided never had the powers of the arcane people, but then we awakened. We were the first one that awakened the powers, and we shouldn't awaken it. That was against like they say, it was against the reveal acts. So maybe we awakened it because I don't know, is it because the choice that I did, or it's to happen like that? But like the story is good. Of course, it's a small indie team. That's why it doesn't have a lot of that amazing artwork in there. But the background always is good. But like you see only one good CG in there. That was on the keys. That was the good CG, because it's a small team. They have to put from their pocket money, so they can't put a lot. But overall, the game is good. The choice, of course, all choice that you do matter. I think because like before, the epilogue, every story has an epilogue like that. You could see that before starting chapter 1, we need to decide if we go to the kitchen or we stay on the living room seeing Queen playing the video game, or you can go to the bathroom, or you can go to home, right, to leave the house. And I think those are the 4 routes that you can have depending on those choices. Then of course more choice will appear, and through those choices you're gonna go to the first ending or the second ending. Of course, it's like that. So it's like it has a lot of multiple endings. But the only thing that I will say criticize is that there is not a lot of CGs, because that's what call attention for visual novels. But at the same time, I understand, because they are a small indie team, they don't have a publisher, it's from their own money, from their own pocket, so I understand at the same time. Now, if like I always say, those that don't have publisher, the game is good, so continue making this type of games, or like I will say, continue making these games like visual novels, but try at the same time to search for publishers to help you to publish the games. Like that, you can make even better games, is what I'll say. But overall, good story, because it's about relationship, is what it is. So if you guys like visual novel, if you are fans of visual novel, I'll say go to Steam, it's already available, search for Snips and Snails, buy it, and you're gonna enjoy the game and the story. If you are not a big fan of visual novels, I'll say give it a try, because you're gonna enjoy the story. You have funny parts, sad parts, so I think you're gonna enjoy. If you are not a big fan of visual novels, I think you're gonna enjoy at the same time the story. So hope you guys enjoy the playthrough of Snips and Snails. If you want to try out, you can go already to Steam, it's already available there, and play it. The game has a lot of endings, because there is 4 routes, each one has 2 different endings, so you're gonna have a long time to play the game. So hope you guys enjoy it, and see you guys next time.